Chapter 346. 5 days later, when the last Takashi Hoshi toxin vaccine was edited by Wang Lan. Congratulations to the host for completing a full set of mutated Takashi Hoshi toxin vaccines. The reward is 100,000 EXP and 20,000 skill points. These days, while waiting for the Takashi Hoshi toxin vaccines to be delivered, Wang Lan didn't stay idle. Under the leadership of the Academy's volunteer group and Princess L, they went to the alternate dimensions to find a total of 80 Takashi Hoshi toxin samples. They covered almost all the Takashi Hoshi toxins in the 5 alternate dimensions of the Land of Ice. Wang Lan naturally edited all the Takashi Hoshi toxin vaccines and sent them back to the Empire. In addition to bringing unimaginable fatigue to Wang Lan, the 80 types of Takashi Hoshi toxins also gave him a huge amount of EXP. Unknowingly, the 1 million EXP requirement was reduced to less than 100,000. When the last set of mutated Takashi Hoshi toxin vaccines was edited, the EXP bar was instantly filled. In an instant, a wave of star power spread out from Wang Lan's body. Princess L, who had just arrived outside Wang Lan's dormitory and wanted to see Wang Lan, suddenly stopped in her tracks, her face showing an expression as if she had seen a ghost. These days, Princess L would come to see Wang Lan when she was free. She didn't know why, but when she saw Wang Lan's serious face at work, she felt that this boy was so handsome that it was out of the sky. Although Wang Lan was indeed a little handsome, it was definitely not to the extent that he was drop-dead handsome, especially under the premise that people of different races had different aesthetic standards. But Princess L's feelings were just that strange. Princess L dared to swear that she wasn't flattering or self-hypnotizing, but that Wang Lan's state really made her fall in love with him at a glance. How could one describe the kind of fall in love with him at a glance, the kind that even thought of the name of the child in the future? Although she knew that it wasn't good to disturb Wang Lan's work, Princess L still couldn't help but come and take a look, even if she could just sit and watch quietly. But what was the situation now? This movement, wasn't it the movement of a breakthrough? Furthermore, it was not an ordinary breakthrough. Instead, it was a breakthrough of a major realm. Wang Lan had been editing the Takashi Hoshi vaccine for the past few days. Could it be that Wang Lan could take care of his cultivation while editing the vaccine? No wonder he was able to achieve such a dazzling achievement at the age of 18. She then recalled what Yu Ruoyun had said about Wang Lan awakening his Takashi Hoshi innate talent at the age of 16. Compared to Wang Lan, his title as a genius should be thrown into the toilet and soaked in piss. The commotion caused by Wang Lan's breakthrough had alarmed all the students and instructors in the camp. Whoosh! 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 Several people led by Yu Ruoyun suddenly arrived outside Wang Lan's dormitory. Princess Els, is Wang Lan breaking through? I don't know. I've only just arrived. Before I even knocked on the door, I already sensed astral power fluctuations. This is the astral power fluctuation of a breakthrough to the galaxy realm. Everyone, don't talk. Let's protect Wang Lan, Wu Xiaohua hurriedly shouted. No need. He's done breaking through. Yu Ruoyun glanced at the door indifferently with a defeated expression on her face. Yu Ruoyun was already used to Wang Lan breaking through at the drop of a hat. When the first year of university had just started, Wang Lan had just broken through to the Nebula realm. Even the students of Cebu Gakuen in the Magic City would not have a chance to fight in their first year of university. Naturally, they would not be able to obtain any soul orbs. However, this guy had broken through from the early nebula stage to the peak nebula stage within a semester. Now, he had only been in the country of ice for a few days. The real battle had not even begun, yet he had already broken through. It was time for a once-in-a-thousand-years genius like her to step down. After completing the breakthrough, Wang Lan could finally upgrade his gold skills again. Speaking of which, Wang Lan's skills had not been upgraded to the peak. The only skills that had been upgraded to gold level 9 were Life Him, Phantom Perplexing Track, flaming blade, meteor shower, and earth surge sea of flames. Even crescent moon arrow and thundersnake had not reached gold level 9. Moreover, Wang Lan's S-rank Takashi Hoshi skills were still at gold level 1 and 2. For example, omniscient nature, holy shield, gates of the underworld, and so on. When he reached Nebula, Wang Lan had already realized that his skill points were starting to run out. He had to give up on upgrading some of his Takashi Hoshi skills. Before reaching the peak Nebula stage, Wang Lan had chosen an instant battle path because he had obtained the Soul Slasher. Therefore, he mainly used Phantom Perplexing Track, Flaming Blade, and occasionally Nebula Sword Dance. If he encountered a big battle, he would use Meteor Shower and Earth Surge Sea of Flames, 2 Yoi Takashi Hoshi skills. However, who would have thought that Wang Lan would obtain the Uzumaki clan's talent? At the same time that his star power was replenished, Wang Lan could already walk the mage path. In this way, the S-rank Takashi Hoshi skills that he had mastered could be put to good use. Flaming Blade, Water-Shattering Blade, Long-Range Attacks, Omniscient Nature, 1 vs 10, Gates of the Underworld for defense, and Meteor Shower to clear the field. He could stand still in the distance, and with a wave of his hand, the sky would fall. If he wanted to be cool, he could be safe. It was much better than carrying the Soul Slasher and holding the Holy Shield. However, in the later stages, there were too many skill points needed to support so many Takashi Hoshi skills. Although Wang Lan had 70,000 to 80,000 skill points in the system, these skill points were only enough to upgrade Omniscient Nature and other S-rank Takashi Hoshi skills to the maximum level. Should he upgrade Light Displacement? Should he upgrade Thunder Snake? Gates of the Underworld, Holy Shield? Water-Shattering Blade, Inch Punch, and a lot of other skills needed to be upgraded. Learning too many S-rank Takashi Hoshi skills was not a good thing. Wang Lan thought so. I'm finally done. Wang Lan's voice sounded from behind the door, and the dormitory door slowly opened. Wang Lan, who was stretching, paused, and everyone outside the dormitory looked at him. You're all here. What's the matter? What's the matter? This question made Princess L feel like she was petrified in the wind. Don't you know if there's a matter or not? You just broke through, you'd better take some time to consolidate it, Yu Ruoyan sighed. Yu Ruoyan sighed and said, I have never seen anyone break through as smoothly as you and as frequently as you. Don't say you haven't seen it, I haven't seen it either. Everyone, don't look at me. You can't blame me for being talented, right? Are you guys hungry? Do you want to eat something? You should consolidate your realm as soon as possible. The first batch of vaccines will be delivered tonight. Tomorrow we'll go to the first alternate space. Wang Lan, if you're hungry, I'll ask the kitchen to make something for you right away. What do you want to eat? Do you have noodles? Yes, please wait a moment. Princess L hurriedly left. Wang Lan, although I shouldn't ask, did you suddenly break through because of the Immortal Cloud Mystic Record? Is it that powerful? The news of the Immortal Cloud Mystic Record was no longer a secret in Cebu Gakuen. However, they were not ready to popularize it yet. Furthermore, even if the country urgently needed to popularize it, they could not suddenly announce it. Popularizing it required a planned and purposeful popularizing it. Wu Xiaohua and the others had only heard of it, but they had never seen it. Teacher Wu, even if he didn't have the Immortal Cloud Mystic Record, he would still break through whenever he wanted. However, the Immortal Cloud Mystic Record, although the effect is not bad, it's not as abnormal as his. I estimate that even if he cultivated the Immortal Cloud Mystic Record, it would take him about 2.5 years to break through from the peak of Nebula to the Galaxy Realm. However, it took him less than a semester to break through from the early stage of the Nebula Realm to the Galaxy Realm. 2.5 years? That's not fast. Wu Xiaohua suddenly lost interest. I'm referring to the premise that there are no soul pearls at all. After all, this is a chi cultivation chapter, and it's mainly in the early stages. If one reaches the peak of nebula and still doesn't have a large source of soul pearls, then that nebula is a piece of trash. Teacher Wu, the immortal cloud mystic record is helpful for nebula and above, but it's not decisive. However, for the early stages, especially for Takashi Hoshi, who just awakened, it's something that can take 5 years. If one's talent is high, it won't take half a year to break through from the heavenly body tier to star blazing, and it will take at most 2 years to break through from star blazing to nebula. Think about it, how many geniuses are stuck at the early stages for 5 to 8 years? With this explanation, it was amazing. For example, if those who awakened at the age of 9 had the immortal cloud mystic record, they could reach nebula at the age of 12. Once they reached nebula, they would have enough strength to go to the training field to hunt strange beasts. Their strength would explode rapidly, and in 3 years, they would reach the galaxy realm at the age of 15 or 16. Thinking about it this way, my goodness, at that time, wouldn't there be a large number of galaxy realm high school students? There would even be a bunch of them who would break through to the star sea realm at the age of 18. And those who broke through to the star sea realm before the age of 22 would have the opportunity to break through to the 5 emperors. 20 years later, there would be hundreds to thousands of powerhouses like the 5 emperors. Damn! When Wu Xiaohua thought of being able to see such a magnificent scene in his lifetime, he was so excited that he shivered. The crowd quickly dispersed, and Wang Lan's breakthrough was just a small interlude. Not long after, Princess L came to Wang Lan's dormitory with an exquisite food box. Although the country of ice and snow was already at the end of their rope, with the aid of other countries and the recent donation of food by the Jade State, they wouldn't mistreat Wang Lan and his group of saviors even if they had to scrimp and save. Over the past 5 days, the volunteer group's meals couldn't be said to be sumptuous, but there was meat for every meal. Although cooked rice and side dishes tasted good, Wang Lan was a person who preferred noodles. He hadn't eaten noodles for many days and missed them very much. Originally, Wang Lan planned to go back to the dormitory and make a bowl of instant noodles. However, since the country of ice and snow had noodles, Wang Lan naturally chose noodles that tasted good. Hula! Hula, is it delicious? Elle propped up her chin and looked at Wang Lan's wild eating manners with shining eyes. It's delicious. Later, I'll give that chef an extra drumstick. His noodles are very authentic. I made it. Wang Lan looked at Princess L in surprise. You can cook? No, you can make Jade State's noodles? Even people from the Jade State don't know how to make it. 8 or 9 out of 10 Southerners don't know how to make it. I just learned it, so I might be more talented. Thank you. Wang Lan said lightly. How's the preparation for the battle? Even if Wang Lan was a pig-trotter, he would still understand Princess L's feelings for him. It was a pity that Wang Lan didn't have the fortune to enjoy it. Even Wang Lan didn't know what to do with Xie, let alone this princess. She was the princess of a country, so how could he dare to touch her? After considering it for a split second, Wang Lan decisively changed the topic. 1,500 mercenaries have arrived, and there might be another 500 tonight. Before we set off tomorrow, we should be able to gather 2,340 people. Adding the 1,000 from our country of ice, and the 1,000 from the Jade State's Takashi Hoshi army, we have a total of more than 4,000 people. With the Academy's experts stabilizing the situation, it should be enough to attack a mutated beast from a different space. By the way, how strong are the mutated beasts? I heard that poison-type mutated beasts are not strong after their poison is restrained. No, it's the opposite. The mutated beasts from these 5 different spaces are very strong, and the poison type might just be their derivative ability. The strength of the mutated beasts is generally at the level of star blazing, and some of their commanders are nebula. The leaders of the mutated beast tribes are at least at the galaxy realm. We haven't found any galaxy realm mutated beasts yet, so it shouldn't be a big problem. Chapter 347. Princess L didn't stay long in Wang Lan's dormitory. Although she wanted to, seeing Wang Lan's unapproachable attitude, she could only leave with a heavy heart. The dormitory quieted down again. Wang Lan returned to his bed and sat cross-legged. He had finally caught up with his peers after advancing to the galaxy grade. Wang Lan had extremely strict requirements for himself, which could be seen from the Supreme Learning rank. Although it was to activate the system, activating the system was only a reason. If it were someone else, even if they gave you a reason, would you have the self-discipline to do it? Most people could persist for a month, but it would be difficult to persist for 5 years. In terms of strength, he had caught up with his peers and even surpassed the so-called geniuses half a year ago. However, Wang Lan needed to catch up in all aspects, at least not weaker than Jiang Xinyu. My normal strength has reached the galaxy grade. Your nebula. I have the phoenix form, and I can fight against a star C grade if I use all my strength. Your nebula. Nebula is nebula. No matter how high your combat strength is, your level is still low. But now, the first half of the freshman year was not over yet. Breaking through to the galaxy grade was considered a small group of people at the top of the pyramid. According to Wang Lan's knowledge, there were only 7 freshmen at the galaxy grade. The upgrade not only brought about a change in the quality of star power, but also a sharp increase in the amount of star power. In terms of quality, Takashi Hoshi's star power consumption was about half of Nebula's star power consumption. It wasn't that Takashi Hoshi's star power consumption had decreased, but that the quality of star power had increased. In terms of reserves, the original foundation had increased by 3 times or so. Including the tenfold increase in star power due to the Uzumaki bloodline, Wang Lan's star power now allowed him to use Takashi Hoshi's star power without any scruples. Even if these Takashi Hoshi's star power were all S-grade star power, they could use Earth Gush Lava 50 times in one go. What if they used it 50 times? What to do? Haha. Let's just ask who can withstand 50 times. The surge of star power gave Wang Lan an unprecedented sense of fullness. But now Wang Lan still needed to complete another transformation. When he broke through to the galaxy grade, the transformation of his star power was only half complete. The other half was the transformation of his Takashi Hoshi technique. Closing his eyes, Shi Feng sank his consciousness into the system interface. Immediately, he opened up Takashi Hoshi's skills page and turned his attention to his innate skill, Life Hymn. It was not easy to upgrade Life Hymn from Gold 1 to Gold 9. An ordinary gold-ranked Takashi Hoshi skill only required 10,000 EXP to upgrade. However, Life Hymn required 55,000 EXP to upgrade. Especially now. Life Hymn, Gold LV9 010000. A total of 10,000 skill points, which made Wang Lan's heart ache. It had been a long time since he added any skill points to him. He had accumulated 30,000 skill points over the past 5 days. Adding the 50,000 skill points he had previously accumulated, he now had a total of 80,000 skill points. 80,000 skill points might seem like a lot, but in reality, it wasn't that much. After upgrading Life Hymn to Platinum, it was still not enough to upgrade him to Platinum 9. Furthermore, there were still so many skills waiting to be upgraded. It would already be pretty good if he could upgrade his main skill to Platinum with these few skill points. After hesitating for a moment, Wang Lan immediately started to add points to Life Hymn. Previously, when Life Hymn had been upgraded, it had not given birth to any other abilities. However, Wang Lan had always felt that Life Hymn was nurturing something. This feeling was very difficult to describe with words. It was just like how a pregnant woman could not describe the feeling of giving birth to a child. Unfortunately, even after upgrading to Gold 9, that mysterious nurturing feeling was still not complete. However, Wang Lan had a strong feeling that it would happen soon. As long as he upgraded to Platinum, his innate skill would undergo a brand new transformation. After filling up the innate skill with 10,000 skill points, a dazzling white light instantly appeared in Wang Lan's field of vision. The white light was so gorgeous that it dazzled Wang Lan's eyes. Gradually, the white light dissipated, and Wang Lan's first Real Platinum skill appeared before his eyes. The white metallic feeling flashed with a golden light. It was like a gem embedded in the skill page. Light of Life. Takashi Hoshi's skill evolved from Life Hymn. Skill 1, Self-Healing. Passive skill. When the practitioner encounters critical life damage, the Takashi Hoshi skill will automatically activate and rapidly heal the body from fatal injuries. Spiritual Awakening. Passive skill. Host will automatically activate after receiving fatal injuries. Host will be in a state of absolute lucidity and immune to all spiritual attacks. Host will also be immune to self-protective coma and paralysis. Host's thinking speed will also be doubled. Life Transfer. Active skill. Launches 10 life chains to connect to the target. Through the chains, life force will be transferred to the target to heal the damage done to the target. Ability characteristics. Cannot be interrupted or distorted. Ability effective range. 30 meters. Rebirth in Substitute. Active skill. Uses life force to nurture a primordial life pearl in the heart. When the user receives an instant death blow, the life pearl can be taken away from the body along with the soul. When the life pearl is taken away from the body, it will immediately activate life force to accelerate growth. Within 30 seconds, a new body will be born. Note: Rebirth in Substitute is similar to Rebirth. Once this skill is used, it will consume 90% of the user's star power. It is recommended that the host hide the life pearl in a hidden place when using this skill to avoid a second blow. After Life Hymn had advanced to Platinum, so many abilities had been derived. Wang Lan was shocked, and his heart started to beat faster. Platinum skills were classified by the Takashi Hoshi world as Super S rank Takashi Hoshi skills. Of course, the classification after Super S rank was very vague. Everything stronger than Super S rank was called Super S rank. However, this Light of Life definitely had a place among Super S rank. There were 2 additional abilities. One was immunity to all illusory attacks. Illusory techniques had always been Wang Lan's weakness. At the very least, he had almost been stared to death by Maigatsuk Castle back then. Wang Lan was still brooding over it. Although he had mastered the method to restrain illusory techniques, there were many high-level illusory techniques that could make you fall into an illusion without realizing it. If you couldn't sense it, you wouldn't think of dispelling the illusion. If you couldn't dispel it, you wouldn't even know how you died. The only thing that annoyed him was that this was a passive skill. Moreover, it could only be used when his life was in danger. The last ability was powerful. It was basically a simplified version of Rebirth in Blood. Wang Lan's self-healing Takashi Hoshi skill was indeed very impressive. It could both attack and defend. Even if his heart was shattered, it could regenerate in a few seconds. No matter how serious the injury, it could be healed quickly. However, Wang Lan had always been worried about the problem. What if his head was chopped off? What if he was killed instantly and couldn't even heal in time? Now it was here. With Rebirth and Substitute, it would be fine even if his head was chopped off. Even if his head was chopped off, his life pearl would be ejected and a brand new self would grow in 30 seconds. There was a saying, "Even if you kill me, there will be thousands of me," as expected of his innate ability. It gives him whatever he needs. Resisting the urge to spend another 20,000 points to upgrade his Light of Life, Wang Lan looked at the other Takashi Hoshi skills. Wang Lan's face flashed with a hint of pain when she saw the gray phoenix that was waiting to be activated. Originally, after upgrading to the Galaxy grade, he could already transform the phoenix form into a regular skill. God knows how many skill points Wang Lan had consumed in the past year and a half. These skill points had already pushed the Phoenix form to Platinum and Diamond grade. However, because of the fusion with the Dragon Emperor form, the Phoenix form was directly upgraded to the second form. Therefore, he had to wait until he reached the galaxy grade before he could transform it. The galaxy grade. It was simply too far away. After scanning through all the gold Takashi Hoshi skills, his gaze finally fell on the Immortal Cloud Mystic Record. The other Takashi Hoshi skills increased damage output. Only the Immortal Cloud Mystic Record was related to his leveling speed. Upgrading from the Galaxy grade to the Nebula grade required a total of more than 50 million experience points. This was an extremely terrifying number. Adding up all the experience points that Wang Lan had earned before, it was only a fraction of the amount required. If he relied solely on missions to earn experience points, he was afraid that only completing the Save the Milky Way mission could earn so much experience points. Currently, the Immortal Cloud Mystic Record was at Gold Grade 2 and required 8,000 skill points to upgrade. Although it was painful, it was still better to upgrade it. Every time the Immortal Cloud Mystic Record leveled up, it felt like a piece of flesh was cut off from Wang Lan's body. Soon, all 8,000 skill points were filled. Another white light flashed, and the second platinum skill lit up like a star in the sky. Immortal Cloud Mystic Record Chi Cultivation Chapter, Platinum Grade Level 1, 020000, Perfection, 100 experience points per minute. 100 experience points per minute? This exceeded Wang Lan's expectations. If 100 experience points per minute, he could get 6,000 experience points per hour. Wang Lan had already grasped conscious control and could activate the Immortal Cloud Mystic Record at any time. Other than when he was fighting and sleeping, he could activate it during walking, eating, studying, and working hours. It required 2 million to upgrade from Star River Grade 1 to Star River Grade 2. If he activated it 8 hours a day, he could upgrade in less than 3 months. Even if he upgraded from Star River Grade 1 to Star Sea Grade, it would probably take less than 3 years. In other words, Wang Lan could break through to Star Sea Grade before his senior year even if he relied on the Immortal Cloud Mystic Record. However, this did not include Wang Lan's other experience points. If he added the development of the Takashi Hoshi poison vaccine, the experience points would double. It was a pity that the Immortal Cloud Mystic Record only increased experience points. Otherwise, why would Wang Lan accept missions? Wouldn't it be better to wait until he graduated from university and reached Star Sea Grade? The Immortal Cloud Mystic Record solved the biggest problem of Wang Lan's explosive growth stage. All Takashi Hoshi cultivators grew their strength between the ages of 18 and 30. If other students grew more and more fiercely at this stage, it would not look good if his growth slowed down. It was inevitable that he would be labeled as someone who had exhausted his talent. With the Platinum Grade Immortal Cloud Mystic Record, it was not considered slow to reach the Star Sea Grade from the initial stage of Galaxy Grade in 3 years. A 21-year-old Star Sea Grade was worthy of being called a genius. He also had 9 years to break through to the 5 Emperors. He spent nearly 20,000 skill points to upgrade 2 Platinum Grade skills. What should he upgrade with the remaining skill points? After thinking about it, he decided to upgrade Perplexing Phantom Track. This skill was the best choice for sneak attack. He spent 10,000 skill points to upgrade Perplexing Phantom Track to Platinum Grade. When the white light fell, the name of Perplexing Phantom Track also changed. Dance of the Underworld Butterfly. Chapter 348. After reading the introduction of Hell Butterfly's dance and experiencing its release method, Wang Lan's expression was stupefied. It was not that Hell Butterfly's dance was weak, but that it was too strong. Even the Lifeham's transformation was not as shocking to Wang Lan as the Hell Butterfly's dance. It caused Wang Lan to forget what expression he should use to describe Takashi Hoshi's skill. The dance of the Underworld Butterfly was between illusion and illusion. Activating the Star Martial skill, her body instantly dispersed into 10 black butterflies. The butterflies flashed their wings, appearing in any location within a range of 100 meters as if in a flash. Each of the underworld butterflies was Wang Lan's real and illusory body. The instant the underworld butterflies were extinguished, that was where Wang Lan appeared. And because the hell butterfly was an illusory creature, it could not be attacked when it transformed into the hell butterfly. This skill was beautiful, gorgeous, and could be used to show off. He simply loved this skill too much. However, hell butterfly's dance leveled up in a terrifying manner. Wang Lan's remaining 50,000 skill points were not enough. Flaming Blade was still at gold 7, Nebula Sword Dance was at gold 2, and Crescent Arrow and Thundersnake were at gold 5. In particular, the few powerful S-rank Takashi Hoshi skills, Boundless Nature, Holy Shield, Gates of the Underworld, Heavy Displacement, and Myriad Decomposition were all at gold 1. Did something strange get mixed in with the rest? The remaining 2 were at gold 9. Wang Lan should take care of them. Meteor Shower leveled up to Platinum, Heavenly Fire Apocalypse. Sea of Earth Fire leveled up to Platinum, Earth Fire Roar. Wang Lan stood up from his bed and pushed open the door. The setting sun shone through the door, scattering its warmth on Wang Lan's face. Suddenly, Wang Lan's body disappeared. 10 black butterflies flapped their wings and flashed like ripples in water. Every time the butterflies flapped their wings, their bodies would disappear. When they reappeared, they were already more than 10 meters away. Suddenly, Wang Lan's figure appeared in one of the butterflies. In an instant, Wang Lan's figure flashed at the position of each butterfly. Then, he quietly stood at the door as if he had never moved. The speed and safety are many times better than before, but the concealment is still not enough. If someone can instantly remember the positions of all the butterflies, they can predict where I will appear in advance. But, can anyone predict where the butterflies will appear in advance? As night fell, the air above the camp was suddenly filled with a solemn atmosphere before the battle. Although the fourth-year students were already used to fighting on the battlefield, every time they went out for a mission, there would always be students dying on the battlefield. This was an unavoidable problem. How could there be no casualties in a war? No one could guarantee that they would not be the next one. In the Kingdom of Snow Country of Ice, a pre-war meeting. The Kingdom of Snow Country's King Kane, Prince Kate, Minister of Defense Dan Mailu, Major General Jean Wenbing, Commander of the Black Tiger Corps in the Northwest Theater of Operations, and Commander of the Dragon Fong Corps in Shanghai Cebu Gakuen participated in the discussion. I still propose that we attack the third dimension first. The virus samples from the third dimension were obtained first, and 80% of the first batch of vaccines are targeted at the third dimension. The exotic beasts in the third dimension are also the weakest. This will make it easier for our soldiers to familiarize themselves with the battle environment and adjust their morale as soon as possible. After dealing with the third dimension, we can immediately clear out the fourth, first, and fifth dimensions. Finally, we can clear out the second dimension with the most exotic beasts and the worst environment. Prince Kane passionately stated his opinion. Uncle, although the first batch of vaccines came from the third dimension, the exotic beasts in the 5 dimensions almost overlap. The only difference is the environment. Although the second dimension has the most exotic beasts and the worst environment, it is the closest to our residential area, and the threat to our citizens is the highest. If we take down the second dimension, we can immediately relieve the pressure on the survival of the Kingdom of Snow. Even if we can't end the battle quickly and have to fight for a long time, we will have room to breathe without the second dimension. Princess L hurriedly said after Kate finished speaking. L, the second dimension is the biggest threat? Then the threat of the first dimension is smaller? The first and second dimensions, one in the south and one in the north, directly threaten our survival area. Why do you choose the second dimension? Your Majesty, let's start with the third dimension. At least we have an idea. The third dimension is only a quarter of the size of the second dimension, and the number of exotic beasts is less than 80,000. We are more confident. Kane was not a decisive and opinionated king. Both Kate and Elle were better than Cain in this regard. As a king, Cain's greatest strength was not his personal ability, but his character. He was a benevolent king who cared about the people and loved them like his own children, but that was all. Sure enough, Cain fell into hesitation and finally looked at his Minister of Defense. "Denmark, what do you think?" Denmark squeezed out an ugly smile on his face. He had already cursed Cain 3 times in his heart. On one side is Prince Kate, and on the other side is Princess Elle, who is the most respected person in the royal family. Which one of them is someone a small Minister of Defense like me can offend? I'm the Minister of Defense, but you want me to express my opinion? If you want to argue, can't you argue slowly behind closed doors? What do you mean by dragging me into this? Your Majesty the King, Prince Kate's strategy is the safest and the safest way to proceed. While Princess Elle's strategy is to go straight to the point and change the difficult situation of the country in one battle. Both methods are feasible. As for whose proposal to adopt, it will be up to your Majesty to decide. Damn it, what an expert at smoothing things over. Even Cain, who had always been good-tempered, showed an unhappy expression on his face. With a cold snort, Cain finally looked at Jin Wenbing and Dragon Fong. I'm the teacher of Cebu Gakuen. If you ask me about a local strategy, I may be able to talk about it, but if it's a strategy that concerns the overall situation, my ability is slightly lacking. General Jin, you are an expert in war, so you say it. If this choice was in the Jade State, there's no need to think about it at all. Of course, it would be a multi-front war. But the country of ice and snow is in a difficult situation. The forces can only be concentrated in one place. I still prefer Princess Elle's suggestion to pacify the second dimension first. Humph. Is it because the second dimension threatens the energy veins? Prince Kate's face suddenly darkened. No, it's because we have absolute confidence in our strength. It's just an alternate dimension. If we can't handle it with 5,000 people from both sides, then our reinforcements are a joke. And we need a stable rear. 11 years ago, the country of ice and snow had the opportunity to close the first dimension. As far as I know, you almost attacked the space-time node of the first dimension back then, but the second dimension suddenly opened. In order to save the people, you had no choice but to withdraw from the first dimension and leave a small amount of forces to guard the entrance. But when you defended the second dimension, you no longer had the strength to launch an all-out attack on the first dimension. I don't want the same situation to happen again. The second dimension is too close to where the people are gathered. I don't want to suddenly stab a knife in the back when victory is in sight. But the second dimension has more than 200,000 mutated beasts, and we only have 5,000 people. But we have more than 30 Life Star Realm experts. With this kind of strength, we can expand 50 kilometers even if we're exploring a new dimension. What's a mere alternate dimension? Jin Wenbing's words seemed to give King Cain confidence. King Cain silently nodded. Then let's go with the second dimension. The second thing is to formulate a strategy. The palace was brightly lit. Even though it was already past midnight, the lights still didn't go out. Wang Lan also couldn't sleep. He jumped onto the roof and looked up at the sky. The night sky of the country of ice and snow was very beautiful. The stars were bright. Wang Lan had lived in Sioux City for a long time and then in Magic City. What the stars looked like had already become a vague memory. Why can't you sleep? A voice suddenly rang out beside him. Wu Xiaohua had appeared beside Wang Lan at some point. Are you a little excited about participating in foreign aid for the first time? How could that be? I'm not a novice who's never been on the battlefield. I've been through many life and death battles. Every time, it's very dangerous. Oh, I almost forgot. You're also a high-ranking special agent of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. I heard you're already a lieutenant colonel? Yeah. Awesome. A lieutenant colonel of the Heavenly Sword Bureau is at least 3 ranks higher outside. If you're in the military, wouldn't you be a general? That's just a rumor, okay? Being sent outside is at most one rank higher. Also, the chances of going to a special department are higher. By the way, Mr. Wu, why didn't you attend the meeting? What's there to attend? It's none of our business anyway. Why? Yu Ruoyun's voice suddenly rang out. When did she come without them noticing? We're responsible for guarding the rear, especially Wang Lan. If a new type of Takashi Hoshi poison is found in the front line, you must edit the vaccine and make the antidote immediately. The rest of the time, you're responsible for the Takashi Hoshi treatment. I can understand Wang Lan's arrangement, but what about me? Your task is to protect Wang Lan's safety. Wu Xiaohua sighed, but everyone could hear that Yu Ruoyun's main task was to protect him. You may have forgotten the pain after you shed the scar, but others haven't. If something were to happen to you again, how could the Jade Nation live peacefully? Besides, as the Princess of Jade State, the political significance of coming to the country of ice and snow in person was greater than the aid itself. Her greatest value was to tell the country of ice and snow the sincerity of Jade State. She also wanted to tell the whole world that the country of ice and snow was a dish that the Jade State would eat. Even the gods would not be able to take a bite out of it. Sigh. To think that we, the 7th group, are the strongest among the 30 volunteer groups in the academy. To think that we would be placed at the back. Yu Ruoyun could understand the intentions of the higher-ups in this arrangement, but she still sighed in her heart. It's precisely because we're strong that we're left to guard the rear alone. Is there still a need to guard the rear? Yes. Before Wu Xiaohua could speak, Wang Lan suddenly shouted in a low voice, "That T and the people behind him won't let us complete the rescue mission so easily. The National Defense Army is responsible for the medical team outside the alternate dimension, but Mr. Wu, I suggest that you and Ruoyun secretly escort them. Especially the vaccine, a slight accident is enough to make all our previous efforts go to waste. I know we've almost forgotten about this. You still remember? That's right. Although I don't hold grudges, if someone slaps me and I don't return the favor, I may think about it for a long time." Chapter 349. The next morning, the 5,000 troops set off on their journey under the cheers of the citizens of the country of ice and snow. Wang Lan sat in the car, looking at the sallow and emaciated faces outside the window. They didn't cheer, nor did they send them off. The smoke-filled road was so quiet. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the troops passing by, as if they wanted to remember their faces. What kind of experience made their emotions so heavy? In the car, Wu Xiaohua gently turned his face and sighed. They bet the fate of the country, bet their hope, bet everything. This is the last international aid. If we win, the years will be peaceful and sunny. If we lose, the whole country will be doomed, Princess L said in a low voice with tears in her eyes. Space number 2 was located in the east of the country of ice and snow. Continuing east was the economic lifeline of the country of ice and snow, the frozen sea. If space number 2 was eradicated, not only would the most direct danger of the country of ice and snow be solved, but it would also open up the country of ice and snow to the outside world. An endless stream of goods could enter the country of ice and snow from the frozen sea. Before they got close to space number 2, concentrated gunfire and cannons sounded. We don't have the strength to block the exotic beasts in the space, so we can only set up a defense line outside the space. As long as the exotic beasts dare to rush out of the space, our firepower will tear them to pieces. But when Wang Lan and the others arrived outside space number 2, they found in disbelief that Princess L's so-called defense line only had 3 lines. 3 lines of defense, no indestructible fortifications, no decent fortresses, just a great wall of flesh formed by a group of soldiers wearing gas masks. Occasionally, an exotic beast would poke its head out of the alternate space. Before it could see the mysterious world outside, a bullet would enter its eye socket and open its skull. But most of the time, the exotic beasts didn't come out like this. Instead, dozens or hundreds of them would swarm out like a swarm of bees, moving as fast as the wind. A round of fire could only stop the exotic beasts in their track. In particular, some exotic beasts had the ability to dig and disappeared into the ground in the blink of an eye. In such an environment, the soldiers of the country of ice and snow innovated and invented countless ways to deal with the exotic beast. Some of them were so creative that it was amazing. For example, everyone had explosives strapped to their bodies. If an exotic beast charged in front of them, and they had no time to retaliate or dodge, they would directly detonate the explosives and perish together with the exotic beast. This 5,000-man army that pacified the space was named God's gift. It was the army that God had bestowed to save the country of ice and snow. When the vanguard of the army arrived at the second dimension, they immediately took action and trapped the exotic beast inside. The medical vehicles built a temporary frontline hospital outside Space 2. After all, in the era of the lack of medical awakened Takashi Hoshi, hospitals were the backbone of treating the wounded. The medical team led by Wang Lan immediately began to analyze the Takashi Hoshi toxins in the periphery and match them with vaccines. Then, they injected each soldier in the pre-war hospital. Once injected, lifelong immunity. This was the strength of the vaccine. There was no morale-raising ceremony, no inspiring battle song. After all the soldiers were injected with the vaccine, they rushed into the alternate dimension under the lead of the Academy's volunteer group. If the environment of the second dimension was described in terms of an era, it would be the Permian infernal hell. The entire ground seemed to have been watered by lava. The clouds in the sky were black clouds, and the lakes and rivers on the ground were boiling hot water. From time to time, cracks would appear on the rocky ground, from which scorching lava would spurt out. In such an environment, the time that humans could survive was definitely counted in seconds. However, the exotic beasts here seemed to be very fond of such an environment. They jumped between the rocks and bathed in the lake. The appearance of the human army immediately attracted the attention of the exotic beasts. The exotic beasts roared and charged at the human army. Hundreds and thousands of exotic beasts roared, letting out ferocious beastly roars that shook the eardrums. According to past practice, humans would be dizzy and on the verge of collapse not long after entering their territory. When they rushed into the crowd, it would definitely be a one-sided massacre. Occasionally, there would be a few people who were relatively strong, but they could only last for 10 to 20 minutes at most before they became limp. The exotic beasts at the entrance had seen such a situation many times and were used to it. There are quite a lot of people here this time, but it doesn't matter. They're all a bunch of limp shrimps. We won't even need 10 minutes to finish this battle. I can finally eat fresh meat again. The exotic beast meat in the dimension is getting tougher and tougher. Facing the charging exotic beasts, the mercenaries behind them were a little restless and frightened. However, to the volunteer regiments at the front who were holding the rear flank, this was just child's play. Princess Els sensed the state of her body. As expected, she didn't feel any discomfort at all. The vaccine really could make her immune to Takashi Hoshi's poison. Too good, too perfect. Ice and snow, lonely frost in the night. Princess Els attacked first. Astral power surged. Princess Els took a deep breath, and her chest instantly swelled up. A mouthful of cold air suddenly gushed out, and the ground in front of her was instantly covered in silver. The dozens of exotic beasts at the front were immediately frozen into ice sculptures. Boom, 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 the exotic beasts at the back crashed into them. The dozens of ice sculptures didn't even understand what was going on before they turned into a pile of debris. Swamp of the underworld! A leading teacher roared and slapped the ground. A pitch-black swamp appeared 100 meters in front of them. More than 20 exotic beasts couldn't stop in time and fell into the swamp. Hellfire burn! The swamp suddenly spun violently. As it spun, flames sprang up and instantly burned the swamp dry. When the swamp stopped, the 20 exotic beasts that fell into the swamp also became one with the swamp. The teacher gently waved his hand, and more than 20 soul beads shot out of the swamp and fell into his hand. The exotic beasts in the second dimension were indeed quite strong. They were much stronger than the advanced training fields in Jade State. However, it depended on who they were compared to. If it weren't for the 30-star Sea Realm cultivators and the Galaxy Realm elites from the Academy, this dimension would be a tough battle for the Black Tiger Corps. And for the mercenaries, it was definitely a meat grinder and a hellish field. However, with the help of the people from Cebu Gakuen, this batch of exotic beasts was as obedient as rabbits. Not only were they not fierce, but they were also quite cute. With just 4 or 5-star Sea Realm cultivators taking action, the first few hundred exotic beasts that rushed over all received boxed lunches. Let's advance another kilometer. This place will be the rear base. Okay. This battle almost didn't give the Black Tiger Corps a chance to act, let alone a group of highly paid mercenaries. It made them feel like they were here to make up for the numbers. They are one of the 4 great Cebu Gakuen, after all. This strength is comparable to one of our military districts. Now you know the difference between the 4 great academies and the 4 great academies, right? The strength of a student is enough to become the headmaster of your school. The tactical teachers are all-star Sea Realm cultivators. TSK, TSK, TSK. No wonder it's said that the 4 great academies can destroy a country. In less than half a day, a 1-kilometer-wide rear area had been cleared out outside the second dimension. All the emergency supplies and other things were transported into the dimension. Next was a large-scale search to find the space-time node of the dimension. This dimension was 1/3 the size of the country of ice and snow. The environment was harsh and exotic beasts were everywhere. No one knew where the spacetime node was. Without any detection equipment, they could only search bit by bit, like looking for a needle in a haystack. The strategy in the later stages was for the 30 squads and the Black Tiger Corps to lead a group of cannon fodder to spread out and search for the spacetime node. This was a long and dangerous job. No one could guarantee that an exotic beast would appear out of nowhere and take their lives. The mercenaries who came for the money were very clear about this. As the saying went, riches and honor were found in danger. As long as they could return alive, a bicycle would turn into a motorcycle. Wang Lan's squad's main mission was to guard the rear and ensure the safety of the transportation of supplies, as well as find the corresponding vaccine for the unknown Takashi Hoshi poison and inject it into them as soon as possible. If they didn't even have the corresponding vaccine, Wang Lan could only make an antidote on the spot. The Takashi Hoshi poison synthesizer was still lying in Wang Lan's spatial equipment. After resting for an hour, the troops once again spread out and rushed into the depths of the dimension. 3 hours later, the rear area also started to get busy. The wounded were sent back one after another, and new types of Takashi Hoshi poison appeared one after another. Although Wang Lan had developed more than 80 types of Takashi Hoshi poison vaccines, Space 2 might not have all the Takashi Hoshi poisons in all 5 dimensions. There must be some Takashi Hoshi poisons that hadn't been discovered yet. As the battle progressed, the development of the situation was much better than what Wang Lan had expected. Although there were casualties at the front line, the casualties weren't high. As for the Cebu Gakuen and the Black Tiger Corps, they had Takashi Hoshi medics accompanying them. In addition to matching Takashi Hoshi poisons, Wang Lan often received some Takashi Hoshi treatments to earn some extra money. 10 soul orbs per treatment. You think it's expensive? You don't have any money for the 3 days you're lying in the hospital, and don't you know how many soul orbs you can earn in 3 days? Money in one hand, goods in the other. Good boy. Now the biggest obstacle to Wang Lan's strength was no longer the experience points, but the skill points. In the past year, when did he not raise his skills to the ceiling and wait for the mission level to be upgraded? Now, after upgrading to the Galaxy grade, Most of the Takashi Hoshi skills on the system page were still in the gold grade. And there were still gold grade ones. It was as if he had obsessive-compulsive disorder. Even if he didn't upgrade the basic skills to platinum grade, how neat would it be if all the Takashi Hoshi skill pages were platinum grade? 10 soul orbs only gave him 10 skill points, but even a mosquito leg was meat. One after another, more and more mercenaries were sent back. Wang Lan could earn a few thousand soul orbs in a day. Yu Ruoyun, who had just escorted a batch of vaccines back, was annoyed. "I'm tired from running errands outside, and you're doing well in the back? You can connect 10 people at a time, and at least 100 soul orbs per treatment. It only took a few seconds for you to get 100 soul orbs?" He only took 1 or 2 hours out of the day for treatment and earned a few thousand soul orbs. Even Yu Ruoyun felt sour in her heart, let alone the group of mercenaries. After 3 days, the number of casualties soared. After 5 days, most of the areas of the second alternate space had been searched, but they still couldn't find the spacetime node. However, ferocious beasts emerged in the alternate space, and the number of casualties increased explosively. The Academy's voluntary regiment lost 2 Galaxy Realm students, while the Black Tiger Regiment lost 20 Nebula Realm star martial artists. As for the Mercenary Regiment, the number of casualties was quite high. After 5 days, they had lost more than 1,000 people. This was under the premise of Wang Lan's powerful healing in the rear. Otherwise, the number of casualties would have increased by a few hundred. Chapter 350. 7 days passed by quietly, and the battle at the front line had reached a stalemate. They might have successfully resisted the attacks of the mutated beasts time and time again, but the people's hearts were gradually getting restless. They had searched almost every corner of the alternate space, but they still couldn't find the spatial node. It was reasonable to say that the spatial node should be guarded by the strongest mutated beasts, and it should be accompanied by an obvious anomaly. The Gods Bestow Alliance army had searched all the dangerous places, but they still couldn't find the spatial node. If they couldn't find the spatial node, they wouldn't be able to close the space. If they couldn't close the space, would they have to kill all the mutated beasts in this alternate space? What a joke, there were 200,000 of them. Even with the Star Sea Realm teacher from Cebu Gakuen leading the team, it was impossible to kill all 200,000 mutated beasts. If it wasn't for Wang Lan, who was a powerful healer at the back and replenished their star power with soul pearls, they would have to kneel here even if they were all at the Star Sea Realm. The casualty rate of the mercenary group had already exceeded 2/3. If they still couldn't close this space, they wouldn't be seeking riches in danger, they would simply be sending themselves to death. The battle at the front line was in full swing, but the back line was stable and peaceful. With Yu Ruoyun and Wu Xiaohua taking turns to escort, the delivery of the vaccine was very stable. There were a few times when a mysterious faction sneaked an attack on the vaccine, but they were all successfully repelled by Yu Ruoyun and Wu Xiaohua. After knowing that the vaccine convoy was escorted by a Star Sea Realm expert, the people who wanted to attack the vaccine gave up on that idea. Wang Lan walked past the battlefield hospital at the back and saw the mercenaries with broken limbs lying on the stretchers and wailing. At this moment, Wang Lan, who had the heart of a healer, couldn't just stand by and do nothing. "Brother, this isn't a simple treatment. This is limb regrowth. It isn't too much for me to take 50 soul pearls from you, right?" "What? 30 pearls? No, I can't do this deal." "Next. Brother, your injuries will require at least 20 soul pearls. Do you agree?" "Brother, you are so straightforward. Let's exchange the pearls and heal at the same time." "You thought it through so quickly? If you think it through earlier, you will bleed less. 50 soul pearls. Come, let's connect the life chains." Yu Ruoyun, who was on break this time, crossed her arms and looked coldly at Wang Lan, who was jumping around the wounded like a hard-working bee. This guy, how could he be so shameless? As a comrade, shouldn't it be natural for him to heal his comrade? He even wanted to earn the hard-earned money of the mercenaries. His conscience was really bad. Brother Io, your whole body is covered in blood. Why are your injuries so serious? At least 20 soul orbs. Bro, you're straightforward. Alright. Alright, it's alright. Don't use the stretcher. Aren't you going back to the front lines? I'm not going back, Mr. Wang Lan. I originally wanted to make a fortune this time, but I didn't expect to almost lose my life here. I'd better go back to my hometown. It's safer there, the white uncle in front of him said with a smile. He waved his hand and left with his companion who had just been saved by Wang Lan. Mr. Wang, hurry up, there's a serious injury here. I'm coming. It's only a matter of a few seconds. Why are you in such a hurry? Wang Lan dashed towards the direction of the call and connected with a life chain. By the way, do you know my name? I only know that your surname is Wang, and you're a noble from the Jade State. May I have the honor of knowing the name of the Honorable King? Wang Lan's expression suddenly changed. He turned his head and looked at a Takashi Hoshi warrior from the country of ice beside him. Do you know my name? This. My superiors told me that you're Mr. Wang, our distinguished guest, and also the inventor of the Takashi Hoshi poison vaccine. You over there, stop right there. Wang Lan suddenly shouted sternly. As Wang Lan's voice sounded, everyone's movements slowed down. Yu Ruoyun quickly looked at the 7 people in front of her. Which country are you guys from? We're from the country of Corville. The Middle East? The Middle East is a disaster area where mutated beasts wreak havoc. The warriors from there are all fearless, and you guys are so easily scared? Just now you said that you want to go back to your hometown? Your hometown doesn't seem to be safer than here, right? My hometown doesn't have mutated beasts wreaking havoc, so it's fine. Is that so? Wang Lan slowly walked over. If it's convenient, please cooperate with an identification. If there's no problem, we'll let you go. Ruoyun, take them. Before he could finish his words, the 7 people suddenly jumped up, and their figures flashed as they were about to rush out of the exit. As soon as they ran, Wang Lan instantly realized that there was something wrong with them. Before Yu Ruoyun could move, Wang Lan's body had already scattered and turned into 10 black butterflies. The butterflies gently flapped their wings and disappeared in an instant. When they reappeared, they were already beside the 7 people running wildly. Wang Lan's figure appeared beside the 7 people almost at the same time, and with a palm strike, the 7 of them were sent flying. From the time they jumped to the time they were sent flying, not even a second had passed. When Yu Ruoyun reacted, everything was already over, and the dust had settled. It seems that there's something wrong with your identities. Can you tell me who you are? Boom! Suddenly, a horrifying fluctuation of astral power came from afar. The powerful force was so strong that even Wang Lan and Yu Ruoyun, who were behind them, could feel it. Wang Lan, I'll go and take a look, Yu Ruoyun hurriedly said. No need. The titled warrior Long Ye is at the front line. Wang Lan was more concerned about the 7 people in front of him. When Wang Lan's gaze fell on the 7 people, their heads suddenly twisted and exploded like watermelons. Spirit skill. Bird of paradise. Wang Lan quickly searched the 7 people, and soon found a map among the leaders. There was a route drawn on the map. However, the map covered a large area with lakes and seas. The map was at least half the size of Jade State. It was impossible for it to be a map of an alternate space. Even an unexplored space might not be so big. After the noise in the distance, there was no new movement for a long time. But soon, 3 teams of Cebu Gakuin rushed over with stretchers. Wang Lan, hurry, save them! Wang Lan flashed to the stretchers, and his expression changed when he saw the 3 people on the stretchers. Without hesitation, he connected the 3 tactics teachers with the life chain. Senior, what's going on? Damn it, someone set up a trap with space stones. We found a hidden and dangerous place, and guessed that there would be a space node inside. The beasts were very strong, and the 4 teams attacked together. But we didn't expect that we would find a pyramid made of space stones. The space stones were activated, and the space within a radius of 500 meters was turbulent. The 4 teachers risked their lives to protect us, but Mr. AI couldn't survive and was torn apart by the turbulence. We haven't suffered such a big loss since we entered the alternate space. Didn't you open a space tunnel? Wang Lan asked hurriedly. What space tunnel? No, it just blew up the space turbulence. The unforeseen event at the front had once again damaged the morale of the God's Bestow army, and many mercenaries were unwilling to continue fighting. They were selling their lives for money, and they were selling their own lives. Who would be willing to sell their lives for others? That space turbulence was obviously man-made, and no one was willing to move if the country of ice couldn't give a satisfactory explanation. After that, the college's volunteer group and the Black Tiger Army also retreated from the front line. The army retreated like a tide, and the beasts at the front line roared as though they had won the battle. In the path of the army's retreat, Princess L, who was in a sorry state, and the remaining 300 royal guards blocked the front of the army. Princess L, it's useless for you to stop us. This is a man-made ambush. We are fighting at the front line, and if the rear isn't stable, we won't be able to focus on the battle. Now that the morale is low, we can no longer continue the battle. Longya clenched his teeth and yelled out in a low voice. Plop! The 300 royal guards and Princess L knelt on the ground in unison. I beg you, we'll find the space node soon. Save the country of ice. Don't be like this. I also want to save the country of ice, but we have to figure out the enemy behind us first. Before we can catch the mastermind, we're in too much danger. As you can see, a space turbulence caused us to lose 3 Star Sea Realm teachers and 5 Galaxy Realm students. If this happens a few more times, we'll be completely wiped out. I'm sorry, but please persevere. We've finally achieved such a result, and we've already explored to this extent. We can't give up at this time. Princess L, it's hard for me to agree to your request. I have to think about the safety of my colleagues and students. Suddenly, Longya stopped talking, and 3 figures rushed over at lightning speed from the distance. Princess L turned her head, and a glimmer of hope suddenly flashed in her teary eyes. Wang Lan, Yuroyun, what are you doing here? Your mission is to stabilize the rear. Seeing Wang Lan and Princess L, Longya was immediately unhappy. Speaking of the importance of this mission, Longya was very clear. But compared to the mission, Wang Lan and Yu Ruoyun's safety was more important. They were with the team, and they were here for gilding. Moreover, they couldn't let these 2 young and aggressive geniuses notice. Otherwise, with the nature of geniuses, they could guarantee that they would do the magnificent feat of knowing that there was a tiger in the mountain. Director Long, I might know the identity of the mastermind behind the scenes. Wang Lan came in front of Longya, and didn't care about why Princess L was kneeling. Who? Birds of Paradise. Wang Lan said in a low voice, just now, I found a few suspicious people. After I suspected them, they immediately chose to escape, and when they knew that there was no hope of escaping, they immediately committed suicide. I've seen this method of suicide in the Birds of Paradise and the Demon's Spies, so it should be related to them. Then, I speculate that their purpose in infiltrating the mercenaries was to set up the space stone trap. So what? What we need now is to find them and deal with the threat. If the threat is not dealt with, we can't continue to fight. Jean Wenbing said in a low voice. Now there are 2 questions. Where did they get the space stone? The second question is, why did they stop us from closing the alternate dimension? The kingdom of ice and snow has no value to the Birds of Paradise. Leaving the kingdom of ice and snow is more beneficial to the Birds of Paradise. And on the bodies of these Birds of Paradise members, we found a hand-drawn map. There's a clear route on the map. Saying this, Wang Lan took out the map and handed it to Longya. Old Jean, take a look. Where is this map? Wait, what country is this? Our sky blue planet has such a place? This is the map of the alternate dimension, Yu Ruoyan quickly said. Chapter 351. How is that possible? How can there be such a big alternate dimension? Even the 5 major unexplored dimensions of Jade State aren't that big. Wang Lan has just deciphered this map. The map is the 5th dimension. Remove all the lakes and oceans, and the separated land plates can be pieced together. After piecing together and shrinking the map by 50 times, it will be the map of the 5th dimension. Map number 5. L quickly came forward and took the map. What does this route mean? Princess L, you may not know, but in addition to being a student of Shanghai Sibu Gakuen, I have another representative identity, and that is the Jade State Heavenly Sword Bureau's Senior Secret Service. Wang Lan solemnly announced his identity. In the Heavenly Sword Bureau, a lieutenant colonel was indeed a senior secret service. If he worked in a city-level Heavenly Sword Bureau, he would definitely be in the position of a department head. Before I was ordered to come to support you, the Heavenly Sword Bureau uncovered a case of space stones smuggling in Shanghai. And the source of this batch of space stones should be the country of ice and snow. Wang Lan solemnly looked into L's eyes. What? That's impossible! L subconsciously cried out. It is indeed impossible. We have also analyzed it. The country of ice and snow is already in such a state. How could they have the conditions to smuggle space stones? Space stones are produced in alternate dimensions, and the alternate dimensions are almost destroying your country. How could they have the ability to mine space stones? And a month ago, we made a negotiation with the country of ice and snow, and the reply we received was also denial. You also replied that it might be the work of T's. So, we speculated that the space stones were transported from the country of ice and snow, and the real source was elsewhere. But now it seems that the country of ice and snow may not be a transit station, but the source. Wait, did the Jade State negotiate with us? Why didn't I know? Princess L cried out in shock. As the princess of the country of ice and snow, the strongest fighting force was qualified to participate in the highest decision-making of the country of ice and snow. There was no reason why she didn't know about the negotiations between the Jade State and the country of ice and snow. But we did negotiate and received a reply. As for why you didn't know, it should be an internal problem. Also, I finally understood why we were attacked by the tank. If there were no benefits, why would they want the alternate dimension to exist? There must be a large spatial stone mine in the 5th Kong family's residence. If the T organization wants to continue smuggling spatial stones to make money, then the spatial stone must exist. Damn it, it must be them, it must be them. Princess L was trembling with anger. The Jade State was now the only life-saving straw for the country of ice and snow. Whoever stopped them from grabbing the straw and going ashore would be their irreconcilable enemy. Twice. T organization had made their move twice. L couldn't wait to find T's headquarters and tear them to shreds. The so-called T's might not be T's. Perhaps they are the birds of paradise, Yu Ruoyan said indifferently. What do we do now? Wang Lan looked at Dragon Fong. The identity of the troublemaker had been confirmed. As for the location, it was very likely that they had already confirmed it. Should he leave space number 2 and go to space number 5? If that was the case, the situation that space number 2 had worked so hard to achieve would be ruined. Director Long, I suggest that we send a small team into space number 5 to destroy the mine. The T organization's strength isn't strong, and I'm afraid they don't even have a Star Sea Realm expert. The only reason they are a threat to us is because we don't know when they will make a move against us, Yu Ruoyan quickly suggested. This is indeed a suitable suggestion. How about this? I will choose 2 small teams to infiltrate space number 5 to investigate. I must join, Wang Lan quickly said. Dragon Fong frowned. The common problem of geniuses was indeed here. They didn't know the dangers of the world. Don't you know what level of national treasure you are? All of them were ignorant. You stay behind and provide logistical support for the front line. You can't leave here. No, Director Long. I have studied this route. We don't have a vaccine for the Takashi Hoshi poison. In the absence of a vaccine, the only way is to make an antidote. The only person who can make the antidote is me. Why is there no vaccine? It's obvious. The birds of paradise smuggled space stones. If it wasn't for Gao Qing from the country of ice covering for him, he wouldn't have been able to do it, right? Since they have people in the upper echelons of the country of ice, it's normal that we can't get the key poison sample. Wang Lan's explanation made Dragon Fong frown again. If Wang Lan wanted to go, then Yu Ruoyun, who was a member of Wang Lan's team, naturally had to go as well. If both of them went, what was there to take care of? Director Long, you should know the strength of me and Yu Ruoyun. The two of us have the strength of a true Star Sea Realm expert. Together with Teacher Wu, we have the strength of a pure Star Sea Realm elite team. We can't have too many people infiltrating Space Number 5. Our team and Princess L should be enough. After all, our main mission is to investigate. Dragon Fong hesitated for a long time. Looking at the great situation in Space Number 2, he was unwilling to give up just like that. After pondering for a long time, he silently nodded. Okay, but you must remember that your safety is more important than anything else. Director, don't worry. We haven't lived long enough. Yu Ruoyun's true strength should be at the peak of the Star Sea Realm. Last time, she beat up that bald Star Sea Realm foreigner like it was a game. After Wang Lan broke through to the Star Sea Realm, his true strength had soared by 10 times. Even in his normal state, he was not inferior to Yu Ruoyun. Moreover, the two of them together had a sure kill skill. Under the dragon and phoenix bringing prosperity, the two of them might be able to erupt with the strength of a titled expert. With such strength, the risk of going to Space Number 5 was actually not high. Danger was just a sign of insufficient strength. As long as one was strong enough, they could ignore all dangers. In the four-man team, Wu Xiaohua and Princess L were elite experts at the Star Sea Realm. With such a combination, even if the Academy's 30 teams joined forces to encircle them, they could easily escape unscathed. Did the people sent by the birds of paradise have this strength? Get lost. In that case, all teams pay attention. Continue to search for the space nodes at your strongholds. If the mercenaries want to withdraw from the negotiations with the country of ice, Black Tiger Corps, pay attention. Return to your strongholds and don't take the initiative to attack. Keep in contact with each other every half an hour. Since the Academy's volunteer group and the Black Tiger Corps had said so, what else could the mercenaries do? They were just here to be bystanders, acting as a liaison between the experts. If they protested, they wouldn't get any money. Because there were enemy spies among the higher-ups of the country of ice, Wang Lan's four-man team's operation had to be carried out in secret. The four of them quietly left the isolated space. It was currently night outside, and the sky was bright with stars. Wang Lan and Yu Ruoyun both knew how to fly. The two of them brought Wu Xiaohua and Princess L to the north of the country of ice. Space Number 5 was in the north, at an angle with Space Number 1 and Space Number 4. Space Number 5 was the most stable of the 5 spaces. The number of mutant beasts that came out was the fewest, so the defense of Space Number 5 was the weakest. Because of this, the abnormalities in Space Number 5 had never been discovered by the country of ice. When the four of them arrived at the periphery of Space Number 5, they had only set up a defensive line 1 kilometer away. The entrance to Space Number 5 was in a canyon. As long as mutant beasts came out of the space, they would definitely rush to the open basin. The defensive line was built at a high point in the basin, allowing them to easily kill the mutant beasts from above. However, due to the distance, the country of ice's army didn't notice the slightest movement in Space Number 5. At least, Wang Lan's group of 4 secretly arrived at Space Number 5 without being noticed for more than 10 minutes. After entering the isolated space, the environment was like a cloudy dusk. Colorful ribbons of light like auroras would scatter in the sky from time to time. The four of them picked up the map and quickly explored according to the instructions. Even if they encountered mutant beasts along the way, they would avoid them as much as they could. Under the full speed of a star sea realm, 120 kilometers per hour was a piece of cake. After running for half an hour, Wang Lan's group came to a halt. We've already reached the first node. Since the map marked the node, there must be a reason. I'll check ahead. Wang Lan left these words and disappeared in an instant. After walking for a few hundred meters, a sea of flowers appeared in front of them. According to the map, they had to pass through this sea of flowers. It didn't take much to guess that the Takashi Hoshi poison in this sea of flowers was definitely different from the outside world. The so-called node should be a reminder to change the antidote. Wang Lan came to the edge of the sea of flowers. Before he even got close, the sea of flowers suddenly spewed out colorful gas, like a rainbow. Everything decomposition activated, and the Takashi Hoshi poison was quickly broken down. As expected, there was no sample of this Takashi Hoshi poison. It was a brand new poison. Wang Lan quickly edited the ingredients of the antidote in his mind, then turned around to meet up with the other three. Wang Lan, how is it? As expected, we'll have to pass through a sea of flowers. It's a brand new Takashi Hoshi poison. We can only pass through it if we make the antidote, Wang Lan said, turning around and walking to the plants beside him. The entire isolated space was filled with poisonous creatures. Wang Lan had discovered when he was editing the antidote that the poisonous creatures in the isolated space had a strong mutual engendering and counteracting each other. It had long reached a point where they were both in each other. Wang Lan only needed to find 20 or so poisonous creatures to collect the ingredients for the antidote. He opened the folded space on his wrist, and the Takashi Hoshi poison synthesizer appeared in front of Wang Lan. The machine beeped, and Wang Lan placed the poison ingredients in order. About half an hour later, a dozen or so capsules were created. Everyone take 3 capsules, one at a time. Rush through the sea of flowers as quickly as possible. The 4 of them continued on their way. Perhaps it was because the poison in the sea of flowers was very special, but the expected sneak attack from exotic beasts didn't happen. The sea of flowers stretched for about 10 kilometers. Wang Lan and the others took 20 minutes to pass through the sea of flowers. There were a total of 17 nodes on the map. This meant that Wang Lan needed to make 17 antidotes to help the team pass through safely. From this point, the Birds of Paradise's Takashi Hoshi poison defense line could be said to be impregnable. If it wasn't for Wang Lan, no matter how many experts came, they wouldn't be able to pass through this defense line, even if they had a titled expert leading the way. It was a pity that this defense line was useless in front of Wang Lan. After spending 3 whole days, Wang Lan and the others finally arrived at the location marked on the map. Careful! Princess Els pressed Wang Lan down and hugged Wang Lan's face. The enemy has a perception-type Takashi Hoshi. Following that, Princess Elsa's body rippled with astral energy. In an instant, a silent barrier opened up like the expansion of the universe. It's done. What did you do? That perception-type Takashi Hoshi fell for my illusion. Let's go get rid of them, Princess Els said in a low voice with a proud expression. Chapter 352. The Birds of Paradise's scouting team was still hiding in a corner, admiring the scenery. They didn't even realize that the scenery was just an illusion. Suddenly, a strong warning came. The scouting team didn't even have time to react before they were pulled into the soil and disappeared. The soil turned slightly, and Wang Lan slowly emerged from the soil. From start to finish, the 5-man team didn't make a sound. Soon, Yu Ruiyun and the other 2 also came to Wang Lan's side. It's all taken care of. Princess Els, you're also a perceptive Takashi Hoshi? I know a wind whisper's perceptive Takashi Hoshi skill. Through the wind, I can sense everything within a kilometer, Els said proudly. right? Since there's a scouting team from the Birds of Paradise here, we shouldn't be empty-handed, right? We can't let our guard down. What if those people from the Birds of Paradise deliberately exposed us? If this is a trap, we'll die without a burial ground. The four-man team moved forward stealthily. After moving forward for about 10 kilometers, they finally found a canyon. The canyon was actually a construction site in full swing. In the open sky of the canyon, there were some huge mechanical arm-like things. They were as tall as a 10-story building. What are they doing? Princess Els asked curiously. I don't know, but anything that needs to be built in the alternate dimension is definitely not simple. Yu Ruoyun said seriously. The laws of physics in the alternate dimension are very different from the outside world. Although we've mastered the conversion machine that uses soul orbs as the energy source, most machines still can't be used in the alternate dimension. It feels like the things they're building are a bit like the space-time portals in sci-fi movies. That's possible. Suddenly, a few trucks slowly drove out of the base. Wang Lan instantly activated his dynamic vision. From the gaps in the trucks, he saw that there were some shiny things in the trucks. Spatial stones. Wang Lan said in a low voice. Have you found the location of the spatial stones? That's about it. Should we attack? The Birds of Paradise haven't been alerted yet. Attacking from the inside would be more effective. Let's infiltrate their base. Yu Ruoyun said in a low voice. No, it's too dangerous. Who knows what kind of dragon's pool or tiger's den is inside the heavenly bird base? Wu Xiaohua hurriedly shook his head in denial. If the inside of the Birds of Paradise is a tiger's den, then it would be impossible for us to break in from the outside. Even if his strength doesn't allow him to do so, he should be able to gather some useful information, right? Wang Lan quickly added. Young people these days. Wu Xiaohua shook his head helplessly. Although he was the team leader, he was not the only one who could make decisions for the team. This was especially true when it came to matters of a strategic nature that needed to be discussed and decided. After Princess Els agreed to infiltrate, Wu Xiaohua could only reluctantly agree. The reason why Wu Xiaohua rejected the idea of sneaking into the battlefield was not because the sneaking tactic was bad. If it was not Wang Lan and Yu Ruoyun, Wu Xiaohua would have chosen the sneaking tactic without thinking. Wu Xiaohua could only blame these two babies for being too important, causing him to feel somewhat restrained. Fortunately, although the two babies were just babies, their strength was not bad at all. With Princess El's perception and Wang Lan's long-range vision, they successfully avoided the patrols and infiltrated the base. When they reached the interior of the base, Wang Lan and the others were greatly surprised by the appearance of the interior. What kind of base was this? It did not look like a base for humans at all. Was this a cave made by a snake? The pitch-black cave was completely silent, except for the sound of dripping water. There's a large amount of hammering in the depths of the cave. This might be a spatial stone mine. Let's go down and take a look. After going deeper into the cave, Wang Lan and the others successfully entered the area of the spatial stone mine after avoiding a few patrols. When he saw the appearance of the spatial stone mine, Wang Lan's entire body felt unwell. A huge, sparkling and translucent spatial stone wall had a bottomless hole chiseled into it. It was as glaring as a worm-eaten hole in a large fruit. Is this what a spatial stone mine looks like? Wang Lan asked in astonishment. No, this spatial stone mine is different from all the spatial stone mines I've seen before. Wu Xiaohua was also stunned by the sight of the spatial stone mine in front of him. The spatial stone mines I've seen before were the same as those iron and crystal mines. They were fused with the stone and had to be dug out from the stone to extract the spatial stone. But this spatial stone mine, how is it a mine? It's basically a spatial stone mountain. Such pure spatial stone, such a large reserve, no wonder the Birds of Paradise did everything possible to stop us. How much would it cost to sell it? The four of them entered the cave. The cave meandered downwards, but soon, many branching caves appeared around them. Each cave was so deep that they could not see the bottom. The deeper they went, the more winding tunnels there were. Strange. Wang Lan suddenly sighed in a low voice. What's wrong? Why do I feel like they're not mining, but rather looking for something? If they're just mining, why would they need to dig a deep hole in the spatial stone? Wouldn't it be better to dig from the outside bit by bit? And it's a few 100 meters deep? Now that you mention it, it seems so. The chrysalis of the spatial stone mine were dug out. It's not like they're planning to build a nest inside, so why do they need to dig like this? The difficulty of digging a deep hole has increased by more than a few 100 times. While Princess Els and Wang Lan were discussing, Yu Ruoyun, who was walking in front, suddenly stopped in her tracks. No, something might be wrong. Ruoyun, what's wrong? I once saw a top-secret intelligence report. 100 years ago, a high-level spy who infiltrated the demons risked his life to send it. Before the demons retreated, they left behind 12 space-time gems. These are the demons' space-time artifact. The space-time gems have terrifying spatial power and can open a path to the demon realm. No one knows where the space-time gems are hidden by the demons, but one thing is certain: the space-time gems are hidden in a different dimension. Although the possibility of this is not high, but if it is, the space-time gems fall into the hands of the demons, they can open a path to the demon realm at any time. What? Wu Xiaohua suddenly felt his scalp tingle. I only said that it is possible, although the possibility is very small. Yu Ruoyun hurriedly explained. Who's there? Suddenly, a loud shout rang out, and a group of people carrying space-time gems appeared in the distance. Yu Ruoyun's information was too shocking, causing Wang Lan and Princess El's hearts to skip a beat. They had neglected to investigate and were caught red-handed by the birds of paradise. Dance of the underworld butterfly. In an instant, Wang Lan's body scattered, and 10 underworld butterflies suddenly appeared in the midst of the enemy group. With a flash of a blade, the enemy group was killed on the spot by Wang Lan within a second. But even if they were killed in time, their alarm had already been sent out. Enemy attack. The alarm rang out, and Wang Lan's team's infiltration plan was declared a failure. Let's kill our way in. Yu Ruoyun coldly snorted, and took the lead to rush into the depths of the tunnel. Princess Els, detect the place with the most knocking sounds. Okay. Inside the space-time gems, a group of mysterious people were doing their best to dig out the space-time gems with pickaxes. Space-time gems were one of the hardest stones in the world, and their hardness was comparable to pig iron. And space-time gems didn't have any physical properties. Even if you could think of a way to dig into a space-time gem, it wouldn't have any effect. Using explosives? Takashi Hoshi's skills weren't as good as explosives? But it was useless. Space-time gems could absorb 99% of the energy and release it. Moreover, explosives couldn't be used in another dimension. The only way to deal with space-time gems was to dig bit by bit. But this space-time gem had definitely been buried for more than 100 years, and the surrounding space-time gems were condensed to the size of a mountain. A group of close combat Takashi Hoshi had been digging for 2 to 3 years, but they still hadn't dug to the center. Fortunately, it would be soon. The extra-dimensional energy fluctuations emitted by the space-time gem had already been detected. Leader, not good, there's an enemy attack. A member of the Birds of Paradise hurriedly rushed in to report. They still found us? How many people are outside? I don't know, but it shouldn't be many. I've only seen 4 so far. Only 4? Don't tell me it's just a small scouting team? The Birds of Paradise's 4-star leader revealed a surprised smile. Sangua, it seems like they were sent by the Jade State to scout the terrain and find the spacetime node. They mistakenly entered this place and discovered something strange, so they came to investigate. A white man wearing a cap said indifferently. That's possible. Although I don't know how they managed to get through the sea of Takashi Hoshi's poison, since they were able to infiltrate this place, they must be experts. Ed Clarman Dorsey's, let's go and welcome our friends who came from afar. Sangua, why do you need all of us? I alone am enough. The space-time gem is of great importance. It's better to be careful. On the other side, Wang Lan's small team madly rushed into the depths of the tunnel. In front of them, there was an endless stream of birds of paradise Takashi Hoshi charging at them. However, this group of nebula birds of paradise was only at the galaxy realm at most. They couldn't even stop Wang Lan's team. Red Lotus Steam. Suddenly, a loud shout rang out from behind the birds of paradise's army. Bright red waves of air surged out, instantly engulfing the birds of paradise's small fries. These small fries didn't even have time to scream before they were instantly vaporized by the steam. In the blink of an eye, they rushed in front of Wang Lan's team. Ice Crystal Jade Wall. An ice wall instantly erected in front of the tunnel. The ice wall quickly thickened, and in the blink of an eye, it became a 3-meter thick barrier. Not only was the ice shield sturdy, but it was also crystal clear. While blocking low-level attacks, they could also clearly see the situation outside. Everlasting Wind Blade. Suddenly, a terrifying gale accompanied by countless wind blades attacked from behind Wang Lan. Without hesitation, Wang Lan fiercely slapped the ground. Gates of the Underworld. Dong. In an instant, Wang Lan's eyes darkened. It seemed that the path in front and behind had been blocked. Da-da-da, the sound of footsteps rang out. On the other side of the ice crystal in front of Princess L's, a strange man covered in blood like a skeleton walked over step by step. I originally thought that it would be small fries, but I didn't expect a few big fishes to come. The ice war god Princess L's from the Ice Country, and the proud princess of the Jade State, Her Highness Princess Yu Ruyan. And you, the second on the Birds of Paradise's must-kill list, Wang Lan. Previously, no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't get close to the target. Today, all of you actually came. Do you want to give me riches and honor? Don't misunderstand. We can't give you riches and honor, but we can still give you death. Wu Xiaohua's voice fell, and he suddenly punched the ice crystal. Boom! Terrifying lava rose from Wu Xiaohua's fist. Before his fist even landed, the lava had already flooded the tunnel. With a punch, the ice crystal shattered, and the surging lava instantly flowed into the depths of the tunnel. Charge. Chapter 353. Boom! Suddenly, a violent explosion sounded, and the space stone fragments all over the sky scattered in all directions like a shower of diamonds. Like bullets, the surrounding walls of the tunnel were full of holes. The terrain of the tunnel was very restrictive for the Takashi Hoshi, and the other side was the home ground, so Wu Xiaohua had no choice but to go all out in order to get a chance to get to the advantageous terrain. With Wu Xiaohua leading the way, the four of them ran quickly and disappeared into the tunnel. You think you can run away? A cold voice sounded in the rain of diamonds, and the countless shooting diamonds seemed to be imprisoned in front of them by an invisible force, falling down with a crash. The four figures were as fast as lightning. In the blink of an eye, they arrived at a huge karst cave. Jumping down from the entrance of the tunnel, the entire huge space stone mine was above their heads. It looked like a crystal roof that was flashing with brilliant light. The four of them maintained the four symbols formation as they vigilantly sensed the movement of the grass around them. There were many huge stone statues erected around the cave. These stone statues had strange appearances and were filled with a mysterious and oppressive aura. This should be a temple of the demons. Yu Ruyan said in a low voice. They might really be looking for the spacetime gem. Princess Yu knows about the spacetime gem. A voice suddenly sounded, and behind the statue, a gloomy and cold long-haired man slowly walked out, carrying a katana on his back and wearing black warrior armor. When he saw the other's appearance, Wu Xiaohua's eyes showed a thoughtful look, and his face suddenly changed. Black Crow Mulberry? I didn't expect someone to remember me. Sangwa smiled faintly, and looked at Wu Xiaohua, who was on guard. Since you know it's me, then you should know that your resistance is futile. Kill yourselves. Damn. Wang Lan looked at Sangwa, who had her arms crossed, in astonishment. Her gaze was as though she was looking at a fool. He was already so old, and yet he could still say such stupid words? Black Crow Mulberry 20 years ago, the host country's titled powerhouse, because he failed to assassinate the Prime Minister and became a global S-class wanted criminal. She is the most outstanding descendant of sword-reigning ninjutsu. She once escaped unscathed from the pursuit of 7 high-level agents of the World Security Committee. Wu Xiaohua faintly said the information of Sangwa in front of him. Mr. Wu, you didn't provide much useful information, but you made him sound so awesome. Are you cooperating with him to show off? Wang Lan asked softly, speechless. What do you know? He was a titled battle pet warrior. Most of the people who know about him have been killed by him. I just want to tell you not to let your guard down. You will die. You brat, you're very annoying. Sangwa sneered half-jokingly and slowly pulled out the knife on her back. In an instant, a strong killing intent rushed towards him. Then let's start with you, kid. Are you ready to die? As soon as she finished speaking, Sangwa's body suddenly extinguished like a candle flame. When she reappeared, she was already beside Wang Lan. A streak of flowing light slashed towards Wang Lan's back. Bang! Suddenly, Wang Lan's body scattered, and the 10 butterflies floated away. A flash of sword light passed through the butterflies. Huh! Sangwa suddenly exclaimed. Her sword technique had been trained to the peak of kendo. With one slash, all 10 butterflies should have been cut in half. But when the sword light passed through the butterflies, they were already intact and flapping their wings. Not only were they not killed, but they were also dancing around her. Interesting Takashi Hoshi technique. Suddenly, a cold light flashed like lightning, and Sangwa instantly raised her sword. Clang! Wang Lan's figure strangely appeared behind Sangwa's waist. She didn't know when, but her Zanpakuto was already out of its sheath and slashed towards Sangwa's waist. The interesting part is just beginning. Wang Lan, who had the basic sword technique of gold level, was afraid of anyone in hand-to-hand combat? Good sword technique. Sangwa's eyes suddenly lit up, and she looked at Wang Lan with a bit more approval. The two of them attacked at the same time. In an instant, a flash of sword light exploded in front of them. Boom, boom, boom. Suddenly, 3 red pillars of smoke exploded from the ground of the cave, about to swallow Yu Ruoyun and the other 2. The sudden attack was too fast for them to react. At this critical moment, Yu Ruoyun's reaction was the fastest. She used Wind Dance Whip to wrap Wu Xiaohua and Princess Ayr up, and used transplanting technique to counterattack the expert of Birds of Paradise. Countless wooden stakes fell from the sky and pierced into the ground like a rain of arrows. The wooden stakes pierced into the ground and instantly grew root. In the blink of an eye, the ground was covered in dense tree roots for hundreds of meters. The 3 people who fell from the sky stood on the huge wooden stakes, vigilantly looking around. Teacher Wu, Princess Ayr, the Earth Takashi Hoshi technique has been destroyed by me. Neither side can use the earth element. Beautifully done. Wu Xiaohua immediately praised. As expected of the proud princess of Jade State, you really can't be underestimated. Even I can't bear to kill you. Accompanied by this voice, 3 Takashi Hoshi wearing red cloaks slowly descended from the sky. On the other side, Wang Lan and Sangwa were quickly exchanging blows. Originally, Wang Lan had always thought that his basic sword technique and basic blade technique had reached gold rank, and he was already ahead of most Star Sea Realm experts. However, the king still underestimated the heroes of the world. At the very least, this guy in front of him was more proficient in sword techniques than himself. The 2 of them held the same tachi in their hands, but the sword techniques they used were poles apart. Wang Lan didn't have any gorgeous moves, and only cultivated his sword techniques to the point of returning to the origin. However, apart from the opponent's solid foundation, the endless stream of strange moves made Wang Lan somewhat flustered. Twin Dragon Flash. The Sangwar in front of him suddenly split into two people, and each of them gave Wang Lan the feeling that they were the real Sangwa. They used different moves to attack Wang Lan's two vital points. Dang dang. Wang Lan instantly held his saber in a backhand grip and blocked the two fatal blows. His figure hurriedly retreated, creating a safe distance between him and the opponent. That move just now definitely wasn't a Takashi Hoshi technique, but a pure sword technique. A pure sword technique could achieve the effect of creating afterimages? So the sword techniques I trained in before were all fake? No. When did I train in them? Didn't I just rely on adding points? Strange, you haven't learned any sword techniques from any school, yet you can have such exquisite and perfect basic sword techniques. Brat, how did you do it? Sangwa shouted in a low voice as she waved her sword beautifully. The battle in the distance was getting farther and farther away, and the three of them had been led astray by the Birds of Heaven's experts. Damn it, if something unexpected happened, I wouldn't have time to rescue them. You dare to be distracted while fighting me? You're courting death. Sangwa was angry. I'm giving you the respect of a samurai, and you dare to be distracted in front of me? In an instant, his figure disappeared again, this time turning into 6 people, and slashing down at Wang Lan's head. Holy Shield! Wang Lan suddenly came back to his senses and hurriedly used Holy Shield. He raised a round light disc above his head, and the 6 attacks instantly hit Holy Shield. Sangwa was sent flying, flipping in the air and landing steadily on the ground. You're actually using a Takashi Hoshi technique? You're not a samurai at all. That's right, I'm a Takashi Hoshi. Wang Lan, who had almost been led astray by Sangwa, had almost forgotten that his greatest trump card wasn't gold rank close combat strength. Wang Lan's subconscious kept telling himself that he had gold rank basic skills, and in terms of basic close combat, he wasn't weaker than anyone else. Because of this thought, Wang Lan subconsciously wanted to compete with Sangwa, who was also at the peak of close combat saber techniques, in terms of saber technique. In addition, Sangwa's fast-paced attacks didn't give Wang Lan time to change his mind, and he continued to attack for a few minutes. But, was Wang Lan's true strength in swordsmanship? I'm a person with a Zanpakuto. Thinking of this, Wang Lan showed a charming smile to Sangwa. Release, Sword of Light. In an instant, the Zanpakuto's blade shattered, turning into stars that filled the sky, and when the stars condensed, it instantly turned into a sword of light. Holy Shield of Light in the left hand, Sword of Light in the right. Why does it feel like the Sword of Light and Holy Shield are Takashi Hoshi's techniques? Wang Lan wasn't the only one who had this thought. Black Crow Sangwa also had the same thought. Holy Sword. The Sword of Light was completed, and the sword instantly slashed out, and the blade of light crossed time and space and instantly arrived in front of Sangwa. But Sangwa didn't dodge, and gently raised his hand, and the sword light shattered. Takashi Hoshi's swordsmanship? I know it too. In an instant, Sangwa raised his hand, and the tachi instantly became hazy, and the invisible sword energy crossed time and space, and arrived in front of Wang Lan. Although Wang Lan couldn't see it, he could feel the incoming danger. Without time to think, Wang Lan hurriedly raised the Holy Shield in front of him. Boom boom boom. A powerful bombardment came from the Holy Shield, and the terrifying power sent Wang Lan flying upside down, and the Holy Shield also quickly melted and collapsed under the opponent's invisible sword energy. After flying for 10 meters, Wang Lan rolled and landed on the ground. At this moment, Wang Lan clearly realized how big the gap between him and Sangwa was. Previously, when he fought with Sangwa for 5 minutes, although Wang Lan was overwhelmed by Sangwa's attacks, he was still able to resist a few times. He thought that the so-called powerful titled warriors were just like that. As long as he used the Holy Shield, the Sword of Light, he should be able to turn the tables. It turned out that Sangwa had been playing with him all along. The holy shield, which was known as the strongest defense, was actually broken under his attack. Although Wang Lan never believed in the strongest defense, he still recognized the defensive power of the holy shield. Even if it was an S-rank attack Takashi Hoshi's swordsmanship, the holy shield could block it, but now it seemed that he was still too arrogant. That's it? It's been a long time since I met someone who interested me, and I thought I could have a fair duel like a samurai. Unfortunately, I was wrong about you, you're not a samurai at all. If you only have this much strength, then I'll have to send you on your way. Wang Lan stood up, bowed slightly, and looked at Sangwa with vigilance. His sword energy was invisible, faster, more hidden, and stronger than his sword of light. If he wanted to use the sword of light to defeat him, he would have to use Bankai. But it was still far away from Bankai. Suddenly, the astral power around Wang Lan surged, and the gate of the Star Palace opened. When she saw Wang Lan open the gate of the Star Palace, Sangwa, who was about to attack, suddenly stopped. Galaxy Realm? You're only at the Galaxy Realm? Sangwa's expression became extremely unnatural. How could a Galaxy Realm cultivator fight with her, who boasted that she was an expert among the titled warriors, for so long? Did the Galaxy Realm cultivators take medicine these days? In the Star Palace, a phoenix suddenly rushed out of the Star Palace. The phoenix disintegrated in the air, and the phoenix saint robe instantly appeared on Wang Lan's body. Phoenix form open. Chapter 354. Raging flames gushed out from Wang Lan's body, and the flames on his back formed the shape of phoenix wings. A bright phoenix tail flower flashed between Wang Lan's eyebrows, and the bright red eyeshadow added a neutral and flirtatious aura to Wang Lan. Seeing Wang Lan in this state, Sangwa's playful eyes retracted, and her expression instantly became somewhat dignified. Phoenix form? Who is Yen Di to you? Wang Lan smiled coldly, but didn't say anything. The light sword in her hand also turned into a red light under the phoenix form. His figure flashed, and he disappeared before Sangwa's eyes. Wang Lan's speed was as fast as flowing light, but in front of Sangwa, it was merely passable. Sangwa's blade was instantly covered in a layer of lightning, and her figure also disappeared. The sound of something breaking through the void could be heard. The next moment the two of them collided. In the phoenix form, Wang Lan believed that his strength had already reached the peak of the Star Sea realm. He originally thought that even if he could not defeat Sangwa with this strength, he should be able to close the gap in strength. Especially in the phoenix form, Wang Lan's close combat strength had once again skyrocketed. In close combat, he should be able to dominate. However, Sangwa was still able to handle Wang Lan's every attack with ease. Wang Lan's speed was indeed very fast, and Sangwa's speed could not keep up with Wang Lan's. However, Sangwa seemed to be able to predict. No matter how many times Wang Lan changed his moves midway, Sangwa was able to accurately predict the point of Wang Lan's attack, and easily resolve it. However, Sangwa's blade gave Wang Lan a feeling of appearing and disappearing unpredictably. Boom! A cold blade light swept past Wang Lan's throat, and the posture of the hell butterfly's fluttering was so beautiful. The instant the hell butterfly's wings disappeared, Wang Lan's light sword turned into a thorny spear and pierced towards Sangwa. Sangwa's waist slightly twisted, and the moment it twisted, it disappeared. Wang Lan heard a thunderous roar, and his figure instantly dodged. The tyrannical electric arc brushed past Wang Lan's back, and Wang Lan's figure instantly disappeared, reappearing in the distant hell butterfly. A numb feeling came from his back, and another crack appeared on the bronze saint robe. Ever since he had sacrificed the phoenix saint robe, this was the first time he had been injured, and not just once. Every time they exchanged blows, Sangwa would easily break through Wang Lan's defenses and land a blow on him. By now, there were no less than a dozen sword wounds on the saint robe. The holy garment did have the ability to repair itself, but it would take time. If it was broken in one go, he could only rely on the goddess's blood to repair it. In this world, where could Wang Lan find a goddess? Goddess Athena? How scared is the Flame Emperor to make such a tough armor for you? How could he be so scared of you dying? I've seen many Star Palace divine artifacts, and I've personally broken more than 10 of them, but I've never seen one with such high defense like yours. Sangwa looked at Wang Lan with interest, the lightning sword in his hand crackling with sparks. As expected of someone on the Bird of Paradise's must-kill list, you actually fought with me for so long. However, it's getting late and the game should end. Sangwa's deep voice sounded, and his expression became even more serious. He bowed slightly and placed the lightning sword in front of him. His aura suddenly gushed out, and the fluctuations of star power rippled out, causing the entire underground cave to tremble. Wang Lan's heart immediately jumped to his throat. This terrifying aura had already surpassed any enemy Wang Lan had ever met. This feeling of falling into an ice cellar was just like when he had rejected the Lotus Emperor's matchmaking in front of him. Sangwa definitely hadn't reached the Lotus Emperor's level, but he had definitely seen the scenery on the mountain peak. Moon seizing, Sangwa said, and Wang Lan's heart instantly became alarmed. A bright moon suddenly rose in Wang Lan's vision. However, this wasn't an illusion. Sangwa's hands overlapped, forming a sphere of energy in front of him. When Sangwa's moon seizing was activated, it wasn't just the moon that was caught, but the entire surrounding space. At this moment, Wang Lan only felt that the surrounding space was like hard soil. Boom! The energy beam instantly rushed over, crossing space and attacking Wang Lan. Although he knew that he might not be able to block it, Wang Lan instantly stomped his foot. Gates of the Underworld! Boom! The gates of the underworld instantly rose, but the moment it rose, it was shattered by the energy beam. The powerful shockwave only paused for a moment before rushing towards Wang Lan's face again. Dance of the Underworld Butterfly! His body was just about to shatter, but it instantly condensed again, as if time had reversed. Nothing had changed. Nothing had happened. This unforeseen event made Wang Lan's heart tremble. Takashi Hoshi's skill actually lost its effect? But at this critical moment there was no room for surprise. In an instant, Wang Lan stretched out his arm, and a holy shield appeared in front of him. Boom! Moon seizing hit the holy shield fiercely, and the holy shield instantly shattered. The remaining power bombarded Wang Lan's chest, and Wang Lan's body flew back like a cannonball. Boom! He crashed deeply into the wall behind him, as if he had punched out a human-shaped tunnel. It hurts. This was the only feeling Wang Lan had after that moment of absent-mindedness. If it weren't for the Phoenix Saint robe, this attack would have been enough to split Wang Lan's body into pieces. He might have had to rely on rebirth to save his life. But even if this terrifying attack had been blocked by the Phoenix Saint robe, the Phoenix Saint robe was already full of cracks and could fall apart at any moment. In Wang Lan's lower abdomen, a huge penetrating wound was dripping blood. If this wound had been on someone else's body, they would have definitely died. The moment he was injured, Wang Lan's self-healing Takashi Hoshi skill was activated, and Absolute Rationality's passive ability was also activated at the same time. Cough. Wang Lan coughed and blood spurted out of his mouth. You actually didn't die. Could it be because of this armor again? A mocking voice came closer and closer. Wang Lan's heart was in his throat. He was still recovering from his injuries. If Sangwar attacked him again, he would definitely turn into a box. Although he had always heard that there was a group of top powerhouses called titled powerhouses among the Star Sea Realm experts. Although they were also in the Star Sea Realm, their strength had already surpassed the Star Sea Realm. He had originally thought that after advancing to the Star Sea Realm, mastering 3 Platinum Takashi Hoshi skills, a bunch of Gold Takashi Hoshi skills, and activating the Phoenix form, his strength should be comparable to a titled powerhouse. Now it seemed that he had indeed made the mistake of overestimating himself. Everything had always been smooth sailing. Even when facing a strong enemy, even if he couldn't win in the phoenix form, he wouldn't lose. Wang Lan had never thought that there would be an enemy that the phoenix form couldn't deal with. Now, Sangwa had used a crisp slap to tell Wang Lan that there was. Titled powerhouses and Star Sea Realm experts were not in the same dimension. They seemed to have mastered some kind of law. Even a peak Star Sea Realm expert was as powerless as a baby in front of a titled powerhouse. Sangwa was only a nameless existence in the second echelon of experts, but she could easily beat Wang Lan to the point that he had no temper. What other trump cards did Wang Lan have? Of course, it was to add points. There were still tens of thousands of skill points lying in the system. These skill points were enough to release 1 or 2 platinum skills. However, in the current situation, Wang Lan's skills were not very useful. For example, he didn't have a chance to use the platinum Takashi Hoshi skills, such as Heavenly Fire Annihilation and Earthly Fire Roar. Skills like Nature Manifestation and Light Displacement were suitable for large-scale battles. In a one-on-one fight with Sangwa, who had a weird power, Wang Lan couldn't add any skill points. Suddenly, a terrifying wave of astral power came from not far away. It was the sublimation of a powerful astral power. Wang Lan naturally knew what the energy wave was. Yu Ruoyun had activated the Dragon Emperor form, but Sangwa didn't know. Instead, she solemnly stopped and sensed all the movements in the distance. Speaking of which, Wang Lan was quite lucky for Yu Ruoyun. You're only activating the Dragon Emperor form at this time? You're having a good time. You've been trained by Emperor Qing for a month. You can be arrogant. But can't you pick a better time to be arrogant? You're risking your life here. You're still in the mood to play with them? Are you not going to use your full strength unless you're having a good time? Don't you know that I'm fighting a titled powerhouse one-on-one? How much trust do you have in me? Do you think I'm so awesome? I'm about to be King killed. Boom! Suddenly, there was a loud noise. In an instant, Sangwa's eyes were swallowed by a terrifying cloud of smoke. Sangwa retreated with a grave expression. She even forgot about taking Wang Lan's life. The smoke and dust gradually dispersed. 3 figures slowly walked out of the thick smoke. Well, this scene was quite shocking. If you added a piece of shocking background music, it would definitely be the Ice Ceiling Throne, The Return of the King, and Naruto's opening song. But, why couldn't you have come earlier? Where's Red Skull? None of you are injured? Sangwa looked at the 3 people walking over slowly. A slightly perverted and evil smile appeared on his face. Even though he knew that his 3 subordinates were probably dead, he didn't care at all. Who was he, Sangwa? He was a titled powerhouse. Those who could make him take seriously were only powerhouses at the level of the 5 emperors. Those 3 pieces of trash were dealt with by Princess Yu in no time. Els looked at Yu Ruoyun with admiration. As expected of the legendary Jade State, she actually had such a powerful secret technique. Especially the 2 dragon horns on Yu Ruoyun's forehead. Not only was it not terrifying, but it made Els feel mighty and domineering. Where's Wang Lan? Cough, cough, cough. You can come later. You can still collect my corpse in time. Wang Lan crawled out of the human-shaped hole. The wound on his chest had recovered, but the armor on his body was covered with cracks like a spider web. Ruoyun, I want to ask you now. What do you think? Yu Ruoyun's cheeks turned red. She didn't dare to look at Wang Lan. I think you can handle it. The one who was hurt the most by these words wasn't Wang Lan, but Sangwa. What do you mean he can handle it? Do you think I, a titled powerhouse, am a cabbage? Don't talk nonsense. None of us is a match for him in a one-on-one fight. His ability is very strange. Wang Lan came to Yu Ruoyun's side. Dragon and Phoenix bring prosperity. As soon as he finished speaking, Yu Ruoyun didn't hesitate. In an instant, the astral power around Wang Lan and Yu Ruoyun gushed out. One of them was surrounded by a golden dragon, while Wang Lan's phoenix wings soared into the sky. It was as beautiful and gorgeous as a mythical creature. Princess Elsa's heart trembled. After the two's astral power merged, it brought substantial pressure to Sangwa. Sangwa moved instantly. This unforeseen event was beyond his control. Chapter 355. Something's wrong. Their star powers can fuse? After fusion, they can erupt with even more power? But I've never heard of a Phoenix and Dragon Emperor being able to fuse? Otherwise, wouldn't Yen Emperor and Emperor Qing be invincible when they joined hands? Sangwa only hesitated for a moment before her body instantly emitted a strong wave of star power. The moment the wave rippled, she disappeared. Boom! There was a ripple in the void, and a figure was suddenly smashed out of the void. Sangwa's body flew back, but her face showed a shocked expression. Her night-wandering god technique was unexpectedly broken without any warning. Not only was it broken, she couldn't even see how it was broken? How is this possible? And at this moment, Wang Lan and Yu Ruoyun disappeared. In an instant, the two appeared in front of Sangwa, one on the left and one on the right. Yu Ruoyun was already wearing a bright red armor at some point in time. In her Dragon Emperor form, she looked even more noble. Yu Ruoyun punched Sangwa's face. Sangwa instantly stretched out her hand to block Yu Ruoyun's punch. The blade in her left hand instantly slashed back to block Wang Lan's sword of light. Yu Ruoyun's cheeks suddenly bulged, and a pillar of fire gushed out. The purple flame told Sangwa that the temperature was at least close to 10,000 degrees. Boom! Sangwa's face seemed to shake into a layer of afterimages. An invisible power gushed out, and like a strong magnetic repulsion, it instantly dispersed Yu Ruoyun's flames. Wang Lan's figure flew back, suddenly turning into butterflies that scattered and fluttered in the air. The hell butterflies flapped their wings, and their bodies flickered like stars in the night sky. Each butterfly flickered at least 10 times per second. Sangwa's eyes constantly wandered, observing the position of each hell butterfly's flickering position. Suddenly, a strong sense of danger attacked. Wang Lan's body unexpectedly scuttled out of the soil, and a blade carrying stars slashed towards Sangwa's block. Sangwa's figure suddenly twisted, as if she had switched spaces, and moved a dozen meters horizontally. Her figure had just stabilized when Wang Lan's water-shattering blade slashed towards her head. Sky quake. Sangwa slapped her head. Suddenly, the surrounding space violently trembled as if it had been put into an ultrasonic device. The water-shattering dagger also turned into mist in the shaking. Just as Sangwa heaved a sigh of relief and finally stabilized the situation, a bright red figure strangely appeared in the corner of Sangwa's eyes. Yu Ruoyun punched Sangwa's face. Boom! The vibrations in the space disappeared, and Sangwa's figure was instantly sent flying, crashing into the rock wall behind her. The rock wall shattered and shattered rocks shot out. The smoke and dust dispersed, revealing the sparkling and translucent space stone mine behind the rock wall. Who would have thought that there would be so many spatial stones stored here? Sangwa's body was firmly attached to the space stone, and the space stone behind her cracked like a spider web. Sangwa gently wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. He never thought that Sangwa, a titled battle pet warrior who was feared by all countries, would one day be injured by two teenagers who were not even 20 years old. "Leader, great leader!" Shouts came from the side of the tunnel, and in the blink of an eye, a dozen birds of paradise soldiers ran out from the tunnel. "Found it, great leader, we found the space stone." One of the birds of paradise soldiers held a 20-centimeter square piece of pitch-black crystal in his hand and cried out in surprise. "You really are looking for the space stone?" Princess L exclaimed as she poked her head out from the rubble. "Idiot!" Sangwa angrily slapped the head of the idiot who was presenting the treasure in front of her. He instantly turned around, and ripples appeared in the air. Before his figure could disappear, Wang Lan appeared where Sangwa was and punched him flying. Boom! Once again, Sangwa smashed a human-shaped hole in the rock wall. Even so, Sangwa didn't let go of the space stone in his hand. You want to run? Did you ask for our permission? Cough, cough, cough. Sangwa lightly coughed as he climbed out of the human-shaped hole with the space stone in his hand. There was a deep fist mark on his chest. This was the great remnant blood fist that Wang Lan had unleashed in anger. Under Wang Lan and Yu Ruoyun's dragon and phoenix state, even if Sangwa was at his peak, he wouldn't be a match for them, let alone now that he was heavily injured. Hand over the space stone, and I can still take you to the International Court of Justice for trial. Otherwise, I'll kill you on the spot. You two juniors are really arrogant. Sangwa laughed sinisterly. But, I don't know if you noticed the activation device outside when you came in? Sangwa's words reminded Wang Lan and the others of the strange dimensional portals that they saw on the empty ground before they sneaked in. Looks like you saw it. Do you know what it is? A giant space stone activation device. If I'm destined to not be able to escape with the space stone, then let us all sleep in the turbulence of space-time. Ha ha! Sangwa's maniacal laughter made Wang Lan and the others' faces turn pale. At the same time, King also felt a weak vibration coming from outside, like the roar of an engine. Not good. They've activated the device. Yu Ruoyun's face was also as pale as paper. Back in the 9-story pagoda, a space stone pyramid less than 10 meters tall had sent them to the 7th floor. In space number 2, a 5-meter-tall space stone pagoda killed a Star Sea Realm teacher in the turbulence of spacetime, and the remaining 2 were also heavily injured. But here, the number of space stones was more than 10,000 times more than before. The turbulence of spacetime caused by the activation of so many space stones was enough to destroy the world. Regardless of whether it was a phoenix or a dragon emperor, they would all become dumplings. Teacher, Air, go and destroy the device. Wang Lan roared and connected with Yu Ruoyun's mind. In an instant, the two of them exploded with all the strength in their bodies and blasted toward the top of their heads. Boom! An unimaginably huge force rushed into the sky, directly piercing through hundreds of meters of the geological layer. The pillar of light shot straight into the clouds, bringing an unparalleled spectacle to the alternate space. Go! Wu Xiaohua knew that he couldn't help the two students here anymore. With a roar, his body was already uprooted from the ground and into the sky. Do you think they can make it in time? Regardless of whether they can make it in time or not, they should have time to kill you first. Wang Lan was also enraged. Everything was clearly under control, but this thing just had to cause trouble for no reason. Now, Wang Lan had no other thoughts but to kill it first. As soon as he finished speaking, he appeared in front of Sangwa. His hands danced, and his fists blasted towards Sangwa like a machine gun. Boom, boom, boom. A barrier suddenly twisted around Sangwa's body. This barrier seemed to be able to distort Wang Lan's attacks and divert most of them away. However, even the remnants of the attack were enough to shatter Sangwa's internal organs and cause her to vomit blood. Ah! Sangwa suddenly roared and the door to her star palace exploded. Stars surged like a sea inside the exploded door, and every splash contained countless stars. Boom! Violent energy exploded in all directions. The explosion of the Star Palace instantly sent Wang Lan's body flying backward. Yu Ruoyun quickly rushed forward to catch Wang Lan. Just as she caught Wang Lan, the entire cave suddenly collapsed. Sangwa fell into the bottomless cave and disappeared. Wang Lan and Yu Ruoyun could both fly, so naturally, they wouldn't be swallowed by the black hole below them. However, the spacetime gem was falling down with Sangwa in her arms. Let's go down. Wang Lan pondered for a moment and immediately decided. This black hole is strange. Who knows what's down there? No matter what's down there, as long as we have the spacetime gem, we have to go even if it's a dragon's lair or a tiger's den, Wang Lan reminded her in a low voice. Yu Ruoyun naturally knew that the spacetime gem could open the door to the demonic realm and lead the demon's army to the human world. She had just forgotten in a moment of desperation. Now that she was reminded, She had to go down even if Wang Lan stopped her. Astral power surged around the two of them, and with the help of the light emitted by the astral power, they quickly sank down. The depth of this huge crater was beyond Wang Lan's imagination. They had to fly at least 2,000 meters to reach the bottom of the crater. The crater was so big that even if the two of them used all their astral power, they still couldn't illuminate their surroundings. It was as if they had fallen into a world of darkness, and there were only the two of them in the entire world. Fire Dragon Dance Technique. Yu Ruoyun suddenly activated an S-grade Takashi Hoshi technique. However, this Takashi Hoshi technique wasn't meant to attack anyone. Instead, it was meant to control the fire dragon to wander around and provide them with light. Only Yu Ruoyun could use an S-grade Takashi Hoshi technique to illuminate their surroundings. As the fire dragon wandered, Wang Lan and the others finally saw their surroundings clearly. This was a valley basin, and the surrounding rock walls were all vertical cliffs. To ordinary people, this environment was like a dungeon. However, it wasn't a problem for the two of them who could fly. The only problem was that there were still many strange statues here. The surrounding cliffs were densely covered with such statues. Moreover, these statues were extremely huge. They were more than 10 times larger than the ones Wang Lan saw in the karst cave earlier. Is this the altar of the demons? What are the demons sacrificing to? The ancient demon god. Yu Ruoyun replied softly, the demons' race is a bit strange. They have a caste social structure, but they have a brilliant civilization. The upper castes have absolute dominance over the lower demons. Legend has it that the ancient demon god they worship is a group of powerful beings that can independently cross the galaxy and the universe. However, because of a war hundreds of thousands of years ago, it was swept into the space-time turbulence and disappeared. They hope that through the sacrifice, the ancient demon god can find the way back and continue to lead them to conquer the universe. They worship individual power, but they also developed a technological civilization. It's very difficult for us to coexist in human society. Just like if the cultivation civilization of the ancient times hadn't been destroyed by the demons, we wouldn't have been able to develop a technological civilization, right? Found it. Suddenly, when the fire dragon flew past a cliff, it saw a figure climbing up the cliff with difficulty. The two of them were connected and shared their thoughts. In an instant, the two of them flashed to where Sangwa was. Go to hell. Ka, a crisp sound was heard. Sangwa ignored Wang Lan's fist and pressed the space-time gem into a slot on the wall. Boom! Suddenly, a barrier rose from the wall and blocked Wang Lan's fist. Ha ha! I really didn't expect the demons to leave a space-time gem activation array here. Ha ha! I thought we would have to build our own activation device to open the space-time door. Wang Lan, Yu Ruoyun, you have lost in the end. Ha ha! Tremble, tremble as you welcome the arrival of the demons. The Jade State is finished, the heavenly blue planet is finished, everything will be destroyed. Chapter 356. The moment the barrier was raised, Sangwa's body was thrown out of the barrier as if she had been hit by an electromagnetic wave. Boom! Yu Ruoyun's fist smashed down on Sangwa's head. Without the barrier, Sangwa's head was smashed like a watermelon. Her brain juice splattered everywhere, and her blood merged with the deep hole in the ground. Sangwa, a titled expert who had caused the entire host country to tremble in fear after her betrayal, had actually died in such a secluded place. Yu Ruoyun, who had smashed Sangwa's head with her fist, raised her head slightly, and looked at Wang Lan, who was doing his best to break the barrier. Her eyes were filled with heartache and regret. This is a formation specially set up by the demons. Even the 5 emperors can't shake it in the slightest. Wang Lan, don't waste your energy. The war has begun. As if in response to Yu Ruoyun's words, a brilliant pillar of light shot out from the space-time gem and into the sky. On the other side, Wu Xiaohua and Princess Elle ignored their injuries and braved the birds of paradise's desperate attacks to open up a path to the spacetime gem. Just as Wu Xiaohua was about to activate his Takashi Hoshi to destroy the spacetime gem finished warming up. In an instant, a terrifying amount of energy was released, and a brilliant aurora of light covered the entire world. At this moment, Wu Xiaohua's expression was one of despair. Just a little bit more, just a little bit more. We've already worked so hard. Why? In the end, we still lost to time. We lost everything. With such a huge space-time gem activated, the amount of energy released was unimaginable. An astronomical amount of energy would instantly tear apart everything around it, even the entire space. It didn't matter if he died. He was just an insignificant Star Sea Realm cultivator. However, Wang Lan and Yu Ruoyun couldn't die. One was a genius that appeared once in 1,000 years, while the other was a peerless genius that had never appeared before. If they died, the Jade State would miss an opportunity to leap forward. It might even cause the Jade State to fall into civil strife once again. A huge amount of space-time gem's energy was activated, but it didn't form any space-time turbulence. Boundless energy converged, condensing into a liquid state and turning it into a tide of energy that converged towards the space-time gem. This kind of energy was enough to build a safe passage between the human realm and the devil realm, not to mention opening the gate to the devil realm. In Wang Lan's mind, the system, which had always kept a low profile, suddenly spoke. Pure energy has been discovered ahead. Host, please don't miss it. It stubbornly and mischievously told Wang Lan that it was actually an intelligent system, not a low-level brainless system. Has the war begun? Then I'll let him end it. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Lan suddenly leaped up and rushed towards the light pillar like a moth darting into a flame. Wang Lan. Yu Ruoyun never thought that Wang Lan would actually do such a thing, but it was already too late to stop him. They watched helplessly as Wang Lan crashed headfirst into the energy beam. The space-time gem's energy could even open the door to the demonic realm, so one could imagine how much space energy it contained. Even if the 5 Thearchs were to hold hands and charge in together, they would still be dead. Idiot! After Wang Lan disappeared, Yu Ruoyun suddenly lost control of her emotions and scolded. Available energy has been discovered. Do you want to load it? Yes. At that moment, Wang Lan only felt his whole body go numb. Then, the Phoenix constellation Saint robe on his body instantly turned into stars and floated down. With this kind of energy intensity, let alone a bronze Saint robe, even a gold Saint robe might not be able to withstand it. Please choose to load Takashi Hoshi skill. Heavenly Fire Annihilation. Takashi Hoshi skill level is too low. Unable to load. F***CK. You're telling me that platinum level Takashi Hoshi skill is too low? Load Phoenix form. Loading energy is in progress. Suddenly, in the endless void in the sky, the space-time gate that was gradually formed by the distortion of space suddenly stopped expanding due to the loss of energy supply. Then, it instantly disappeared like an extinguished flame. This scene made Yu Ruoyun, who was originally in despair, suddenly stop sobbing. 2 drops of tears actually hung from the corner of her eyes. She stared blankly at the changes above her head. The space-time gem was still releasing energy without restraint. Even the space-time energy released by the space stone surged above her head. However, in the invisible void in the sky, there seemed to be a valve that locked the endless space-time energy. After an unknown amount of time, perhaps a very long time, the energy release weakened, and the energy transmission channel gradually became more and more unstable. Ruoyun, where's Wang Lan? An anxious voice sounded. Outside, Wu Xiaohua also realized that the development of the situation seemed to be different from what he had imagined. A large number of space stones were activated, but the terrifying space-time turbulence did not appear. Hurriedly, he brought Princess Els back to meet up with Wang Lan again. The space-time gem has been activated. Wang Lan jumped in and blocked the entrance. I just don't know, how did Wang Lan do it? Yu Ruoyun said as she pointed at the cluster of dots in the sky that looked like line segments. Blocked with his body? Wu Xiaohua felt his scalp explode. He raised his head and looked at Wang Lan's position. Suddenly, a ridiculous thought appeared in his mind. Are you the son of the heavenly Tao? How much energy did the spacetime gem have? Even if Wu Xiaohua could not imagine it, he knew that it was definitely not something that a mortal could withstand. It was like a mortal blocking a cutting machine with his body and smoothing out the cutting machine. Suddenly, the energy-released pillar of light became smaller and disappeared like a broken shower curtain. Wang Lan's body appeared in the sky, clean and smooth. That white but was unusually dry and eye-catching. The two girls did not avoid watching Wang Lan fall from the sky. At this time, who cared whether Wang Lan was wearing clothes or not? They were all brothers. After landing, Wang Lan did not stop at all. His body jumped high again and punched the spacetime gem. This time, without the barrier, Wang Lan shattered the rock wall with a punch and removed the spacetime gem from the slot. Wang Lan, are you okay? Yu Ruoyun hurriedly flashed to Wang Lan's side and asked. Princesses, can you turn around? Wang Lan's face was like a cooked crab. His cheeks were dry and hot. Teacher Wu, give us some clothes. Those who came out to fight would usually prepare a few clothes. They were not afraid of tattered clothes, but they were afraid of encountering a situation like Wang Lan's. Wang Lan originally prepared a few clothes, but the space energy just now was too strong and too scary. All the things he carried with him disappeared. Even the Phoenix constellation Saint garment was left with a piece of the heart protection mirror. Not to mention the clothes in the foldable backpack, even the Takashi Hoshi poison synthesizer in the foldable space wrist was broken down into particles. Although Wu Xiaohua's head was still in a daze, his hands did not slow down. He quickly took out a set of clothes from the space backpack and threw it to Wang Lan. Wang Lan placed the spacetime gem on the ground and hurriedly put it on. Fortunately, I did not disappoint. I might be a bit special. I have a bloodline talent that can absorb pure energy. This bloodline talent is actually very weak. It can't be compared to the Black Emperor form that can absorb all energy. There is very little pure energy in the world, but fortunately, the spacetime gem emits pure spacetime energy. It seems that I made the right bet just now. Just as he finished speaking, the place where Wang Lan removed the spacetime gem suddenly let out a loud rumbling sound. Amidst the loud sound, countless rocks fell down along with thick smoke. In the blink of an eye, the mountain wall in front of him collapsed. If someone looked down from the sky, they would see that the original Birds of Paradise's base had now become a huge basin. Originally, this huge space was a complete space-time gem that was like a mountain. But as the space-time gem was ignited, a huge hollow space appeared. This hollow space was very fragile. With just a light touch, it would collapse like a pyramid made of cards. Wang Lan removing the spacetime gem was the straw that broke the camel's back. With such a huge area of space collapsing, Wang Lan's group of 4 had no chance to escape and were buried in the rubble. After a long time, from the rubble that was several meters thick, Wang Lan's group of 4 crawled out like undead spirits from their graves and fiercely spat out a mouthful of saliva. If it were a normal person, even 100,000 of them would have died. But to a Takashi Hoshi, it was not a big problem. Especially since the 4 of them were either at the Star Sea Realm or had the strength of a Star Sea Realm. Is everyone alright? We're fine. Yu Ruoyun patted the dirt off her body with a look of disgust. That dust was the same as the dust from a cement factory. The crisis of the human race's extinction was resolved by us just like that? Wu Xiaohua looked at Wang Lan and Yu Ruoyun with a dumbfounded expression. Even though he had already heard the details from Yu Ruoyun and Wang Lan, he still asked in disbelief. Come, let's go back. You two immediately write a report. I want to give you a reward. Damn it, this time the Jade State must show its face on the international stage. Damn, I never thought that I, Wu Xiaohua, would encounter such an awesome thing in my life. Even when I'm old, I can tell my grandson that your grandfather saved the world with 2 students when he was young. It's too damn honorable. Old Wu. Wang Lan's face showed a sympathetic smile. Do you have a girlfriend? You're already 30, right? If you don't even have a girlfriend, how can you have a grandson? Wu Xiaohua's expression instantly froze. Wang Lan, don't say that. Although Teacher Wu is ugly, he's still very strong. If he wants to get married, there are many girls who would be willing to marry him for his excellent genes. Maybe he'll get married and have children next year. Yu Ruoyun defended Wu Xiaohua with a serious expression. You might as well not have helped. Wu Xiaohua's face was full of tears. Yu Ruoyun looked at Princess L and hesitated. Suddenly, she thought of something and quickly said, "It wasn't easy for us to come to the inside of space number 5. We were lucky enough to survive. Why don't we find the spacetime node and close the space?" Okay. Wu Xiaohua nodded. The spacetime node. I think I saw it just now. Princess L said eagerly. Where? It seems to be behind a collapsed rock wall. I only caught a glimpse of it. Later on, a large area collapsed, so I didn't look carefully. Dig. Wu Xiaohua hurriedly shouted. I remember the rock wall is there. It's not that troublesome. Wang Lan smiled faintly. Light and heavy displacement technique. As Wang Lan's astral power surged, the soft gravel under their feet suddenly broke free from gravity and rose into the sky. Soon, among the rising gravel, the blue, vine-like space node seduced the 4 of them like a coquettish woman. Princess L, you go. Chapter 357. The larger the alternate space, the stronger the spatial node. After all, spatial nodes maintained the strength of the entire space. Even a nebula realm cultivator could shatter a small dimensional space. Even the 5 emperors would have to fight for several days and nights in an alternate space as strong as wastelands. The 5th alternate space was neither big nor small. Even though Princess L was a Star Sea realm expert, she still had to hit it more than 20 times before shattering the spatial node. The instant the spatial node shattered, the space began to distort and collapse. With the spatial node as the center, the space gradually distorted. The destruction of an alternate space was very similar to the formation of a black hole. With the spatial node as the singularity, it would constantly devour space until the entire space was swallowed up. But unlike a black hole, the destruction of an alternate space would not leave behind a terrifying black hole that would devour everything. When the last space was swallowed up, the alternate space would burst and disappear like a soap bubble. Wang Lan, run! What are you doing? Seeing the spatial node shatter, Wu Xiaohua was about to run when he saw Wang Lan standing there like an idiot. Skill cooldown is up, Wang Lan said with great difficulty before collapsing to the ground. Wu Xiaohua caught Wang Lan and directly carried Wang Lan on his shoulder as he ran. In the depths of the universe, there was a dark nebula. The nebula was like a dark cloud floating in the universe. Its color was as dark, cold, and dead as the background of the entire universe. But if one passed through the nebula that was like a death hell, one would see the bright galaxy inside. This galaxy seemed to be sealed within the nebula. There were stars floating into the black cloud at all times, and then they would be devoured and broken down into a part of the nebula by the terrifying energy. There were also stars flying into the nebula at all times like moths to a flame. In the interior of the galaxy, a brilliant civilization spread throughout the galaxy. Countless spaceships as large as beetles patrolled the huge honeycomb-shaped buildings in the universe. If human scientists were here, they would be amazed by the wonders of the universe's creation. Such a huge honeycomb-shaped civilization could actually appear in the universe. Reporting to the Marshal, I just sensed that the human world's spatial passage was activated. In a corner of the huge building complex, A superior demon walked into a strange worm room and spoke to a humanoid beetle-like creature. The space of the human world? It had only been 70 years, and the agents left in the human world couldn't wait to open the passage? Did something happen in the mortal world? Or are they bored? I don't know. The space was only sensed, but it didn't open. Within a few seconds, the spatial connection was extinguished. However, I can be sure that this is the energy fluctuation of space-time gem number 8. Number 8, isn't that the space-time gem that was last activated 10,000 years ago? Ever since the 12 space-time gems were buried 100,000 years ago, only a few of them were activated regularly. Most of the gems only activated once every few thousand years. Number 8 hasn't been activated for 10,000 years. That is indeed the case. However, the space-time gem was activated but failed to open the passage. This has never happened before. Marshall, did something happen? What can happen? It's just a low-leveled civilization. But the people from the Academy of Science said that the civilization developed in the human world this time is a rare civilization that has never appeared before. It might become the greatest threat to the God race. They suggested that this time, we can't just use it as a hunting ground like before. Instead, we should completely destroy the human race. Destroy? Do you really think that the sleeping ancient god is just a decoration? Why did the ancient god imprison the remaining 3 million humans in the Milky Way? That was to leave behind the last seed for the human race. If we destroy their seed, they will risk their lives and perish together with us. The demon god has not returned yet, and we are powerless against them. Because of this, we have destroyed their civilization time and time again, but not their race. If the demon god doesn't return, the ancient god will forever be a threat to us. Don't we also have? But we don't have to take the risk, do we? The demon god is just lost in the multiverse. When they return, not to mention Gaia, even if the entire ancient god race is revived, they will be annihilated with a flick of their fingers. Now we need to maintain this situation and let the human civilization remain in the wilderness forever. Their foundation will be broken, and we can destroy them at any time. But Marshall, the people from the Academy of Science have mentioned this to the Empire Alliance many times. The threat level of the human civilization is very high. Your Majesties still believe in the words of the Academy of Science. Not only do your Majesties believe in it, but I also believe in it. It's just that they like to exaggerate some things. I have studied the so-called technological civilization of the humans. They were enlightened about 2,000 to 3,000 years ago and have a history of more than 2,000 years. Their civilization is still stuck in the era of making tools. Even if they invented that thing called a gun 100 years ago, its power is laughable. The only ones who can truly pose a threat to us are their Takashi Hoshi. The only cultivation civilization left of the human race is the scattered sand in the Magellan star system. The strongest Takashi Hoshi in the land is only at the level of a low-level demon soldier. If not for the suppression of the ancient god's domain, any one of us would be able to turn the heavenly blue planet into ruins. You don't have to pay too much attention to it. What the group of old fellows from the Academy of Science said may become reality, but that is a matter of hundreds of thousands of years later. Do you think that the human civilization can survive until then? Marshall is wise. It seems that I was a little anxious. No, being cautious is a precious quality. All possible threats must be treated seriously. The Academy of Science is not wrong to say that the human civilization is so powerful. It's just that they were too anxious. Forget it. The next time we open the space-time channel, we will erase the technological civilization. Otherwise, those old fellows will declare the threat of the scientific civilization every day. It's so annoying. Okay. Then I will ask the people in the inspection department to be more serious and check the activation state of the space-time gem. Okay. The marshal waved his hand. Just as his subordinate was about to turn and leave, the marshal suddenly shouted. When are you and Mora getting married? Why? Don't you plan to marry my daughter? As he spoke, the marshal was ready to kill the scumbag in front of him. If Miss Mora is willing, I can consummate our marriage tonight. Okay. There's no need to be so anxious. Wait for my notice. You can go down. In a daze, Wang Lan did not know how much time had passed. Anyway, when he regained consciousness, the first thing he saw was the stars in the sky. Stars could not be seen in the alternate dimension. At this moment, he was sitting in a car, and the car was bumping on the bumpy road. However, he suddenly woke up not because of the bumpy road, nor was it because the sequela of the skill had faded away. It was because of the prompt that suddenly popped up in his mind. Congratulations to the host for successfully stopping the army of demons from coming. The reward is 7 million experience points and 200,000 skill points. Congratulations to the host for successfully closing alternate dimension number 5. The reward is 300,000 experience points and 10,000 skill points. The two prompts sounded almost at the same time. Closing an alternate dimension rewarded 300,000 experience points? This was already considered a very high reward. However, compared to the previous reward, it was not even worthy of carrying his shoes, was it? 7 million experience points? Although after reaching the galaxy state, the experience points to level up would start at 2 million, Wang Lan had never received so much experience points in one go in his life. Moreover, even the skill points increased by 200,000 in an instant. With 200,000 skill points, he could upgrade all the Takashi Hoshi skills that he did not dare to upgrade before. The increase in astral power due to the change in his physique allowed Wang Lan to see that he could take the path of a pure mage. However, the path of a pure mage required too many skill points. At this point, Wang Lan only had a few skills that he could use. There were a lot of S-grade Takashi Hoshi skills that he could only learn first and then eat the dust. The Soul Slasher and the Dance of Hell's Butterfly seemed to be a good path for close combat, but Wang Lan also found a problem in the battle with Sangua. The Sword of Light was powerful, but that was only for Galaxy and Star Sea Realm cultivators. The Soul Slasher's attack power was too weak for a titled powerhouse like Sangua. Even if his ability was ever-changing, what was the use if he could not break her defense? For example, when Sangua was attacked by the Light Feather, she could stand still and completely withstand the attack with her astral power shield alone. If he wanted to continue on this path, the only way was to increase the attack power of the Sword of Light. However, the Sword of Light was not a skill point and could not be strengthened by adding points. Therefore, this path could not be considered a failure, but he had to find a Takashi Hoshi skill to replace it. When he broke through to the Galaxy state, Wang Lan had already upgraded the Dance of Hell's Butterfly, Apocalyptic Heavenly Fire, Roaring Earthly Fire, and other Flaming Blade skills to the Platinum level. When the Flaming Blade was upgraded to the Platinum level, it evolved into Extremely Hot Ray. Platinum Level 1, the initial temperature was 10,000 degrees. 10,000 degrees, which was higher than the temperature of the purple flames, was already very strong. However, 10,000 degrees of lethality was not as high as one would expect. The upgrade route of Extremely Hot Ray was to increase the heat of the light. This was something that Wang Lan could clearly feel. If he wanted Extremely Hot Ray to replace the Sword of Light as a powerful output, the temperature of Extremely Hot Ray would have to be increased by several times. The Platinum level had to be increased every time it was upgraded, and the base requirement was 20,000 points. Wang Lan could not afford it at all. Even his original Takashi Hoshi skill, Light of Life, was only Platinum Level 1. When he lacked skill points, he could only daydream about a bright future. Now that he had 200,000 skill points in one go, Wang Lan was so excited that he almost collapsed. Dong! There was a loud noise and the car jumped up under the huge impact. Wu Xiaohua, who was driving, was so scared that he quickly turned around. Wang Lan, it's over. Don't be so excited. Wu Xiaohua used to see this kind of situation often. Many Takashi Hoshi fought until they fainted and were carried to the rear hospital for treatment. The first thing they did when they woke up was to attack. Therefore, every field doctor had mastered exquisite dodging abilities. If they did not dodge well, they were not allowed to go to the frontline hospital. What if you saved someone but were killed by the person you saved? Wouldn't that be a loss? Ah? Oh, you're okay? That's good. Wang Lan went down the slope to resolve the awkwardness. However, Yu Ruoyun, who had been taking care of Wang Lan by his side and had been staring at him for a long time, knew that Wang Lan had been awake for at least 3 seconds. Although 3 seconds was very short, for a Takashi Hoshi, 3 seconds was enough to make someone pregnant. Therefore, Wang Lan's jump was very unreasonable. However, in just an instant Yu Ruoyun understood. If she were in Wang Lan's shoes, she would have done the same. Chapter 358. It seemed like Wang Lan had only broken through to the galaxy realm yesterday, but even if it wasn't yesterday, it was at most 7 or 8 days ago. However, at this moment, Wang Lan's body once again emitted a burst of star energy fluctuations. Wang Lan was currently lying beside Yu Ruoyun's leg. Although he wasn't leaning on her leg, this distance was already very charming. But now, Yu Ruoyun's gaze towards Wang Lan was no longer as affectionate as before, and a thought suddenly appeared in her heart. Why don't I strangle him to death now? This is too damn infuriating. Breaking through to the galaxy realm required 1 million experience points, and advancing from galaxy level 1 to galaxy level 2 required 2 million. Therefore, although he had obtained 7 million experience points, it could only allow Wang Lan to advance to galaxy level 3, which was still 2 million experience points away from galaxy level 4. Therefore, although he had completed the breakthrough, Wang Lan's realm was still at the early stage galaxy realm, not the mid-stage. To Princess L, what did this breakthrough mean? She thought you were going to use a big move, but in the end, you just yawned? Since there was no substantial breakthrough, Yu Ruoyun's barrier separation returned to normal. She didn't break through. Who would break through to the galaxy realm after just a few days? This kind of person shouldn't even exist. I really didn't expect. This experience was countless times more serious than I imagined. Princess L leaned against the window and suddenly said faintly, "We originally only wanted to investigate the whereabouts of the birds of paradise, and if possible, get rid of this terrorist group. But who would have thought that we would actually save the whole world? We resolved the crisis of the demons descending. That's why the world is unpredictable. Our near-death experience tonight is nothing more than a peaceful night for many people around the world. Then think about it from another perspective. Every night that we think is a peaceful night, would there be a group of people experiencing the same near-death experience as us? Will they also face the same terrible crisis that we are facing now? If one day they suddenly tell us that the world is destroyed, we don't need to be surprised. The world's destruction didn't happen suddenly, it's just that we didn't know about it. Ruoyun, you don't have to be so pessimistic, right?" Wang Lan looked at the pair of blurred eyes that seemed to bemoan the state of the universe, and goosebumps appeared all over his body. "Did you know that the demons left behind 12 spacetime gems? Every one of them could open a passage to the demonic realm, allowing the demons' army to descend. We were only able to stop it once. If I can stop it once, I can definitely stop it a second time. Right?" Wu Xiaohua, who was driving, suddenly asked, "Wang Lan, can you really absorb the spacetime gem's energy? Is this spacetime gem already empty?" "I can indeed absorb pure energy, but I don't know if this spacetime gem is empty or not." "So you're saying that you're the only person in the world who can restrain the spacetime gem? As long as the demons or the traitors activate the spacetime gem and throw you over, everything will be fine?" "Theoretically, yes." Wang Lan looked at Wu Xiaohua's smile with puzzlement and felt something was wrong. "Old Wu, your smile makes me shudder." No, I just thought that you might be our trump card to save the world. When the space-time gem is activated, it will cause a huge commotion. Such a powerful energy fluctuation will be detected immediately. When the time comes, we just need to send you over. Isn't your operation a little too crude? Let's not talk about the fact that the space-time gem only opens the door to the demon realm for a few minutes. So what if it's only for a few minutes? Can I travel around the world in a few minutes? You can't travel around the world in a few minutes, but don't we have Kamikaze Express in Jade State? Kamikaze Express, mission accomplished. Can you tie me to a rocket? What a joke, Mach 8 speed can tie you down. We can just put you in a missile head. When we go back, I'll report this matter. From now on, you'll be our strategic nuclear weapon against the space-time gem. After surviving a disaster, the few of them, regardless of their usual personalities, threw away their previous reservations and joked all the way. Unknowingly, the four of them returned to Ice City and went straight to the palace. Only Dragon Fong and Jean Wenbing knew that the four-man team had gone to explore the fifth dimension independently. Even King Kane was not aware of it. So when Princess L suddenly returned, Kane rushed out in his pajamas. L, why did you suddenly come back? Did something happen to the dimension? Why did the outside say that you stopped advancing? Did you encounter any difficulties? Father, there's no difficulty. Princess L's voice suddenly stopped. She looked at the car parked not far away and saw Dragon Fong and Jean Wenbing getting out of the car. Your Majesty King Kane, let's talk in the conference room. Al. Okay, after entering the conference room, Wang Lan followed them in carrying the space-time gem wrapped in his clothes. After the group sat down, Dragon Fong looked curiously at the package in Wang Lan's hand. What's this? Space-time gem. Space-time gem. Jean Wenbing and Dragon Fong looked at each other and saw the confusion in each other's eyes. The space-time gem is an instrument left behind by the demons to open the passage to the demonic realm. You can think of it as a wormhole opening and closing device. From the information we received, the demons left behind a total of 12 space-time gems. This is the only one we've found so far. As soon as this explanation was given, everyone subconsciously stood up. What was this? Something that could allow the demon's army to come to the human world? This thing could bring about a devastating blow to human civilization. You guys actually found this thing? Why did it sound so unreal? Daughter, you should tell me properly. Just what is going on? Kane asked in a trembling voice as he wiped the sweat from his forehead with a handkerchief. Father, we'll have to start from when we were ambushed by a terrorist organization in the second space. Just yesterday, the volunteer group was ambushed in the alternate space. A powerful Star Ocean Realm warrior was killed by the space-time turbulence triggered by the space-time gem. After that, Princess Els told him everything that had happened in Space 2 and how Wang Lan had discovered the Birds of Paradise's suspicious behavior. She also told him about what they were doing in Space 5. After that, the four of them entered the fifth space and found the Birds of Paradise base despite all the difficulties, and discovered that they were actually looking for the space-time gem. They fought with them and narrowly escaped death to prevent the space-time gem from being activated. Especially at the end, when Wang Lan desperately blocked the activation of the space-time gem, preventing the demonic realm's gate from opening and preventing the demon's army from coming. Princess Els tried her best not to exaggerate, but the thrilling process still caused everyone to break out in cold sweat. After telling the story, Wang Lan placed the space-time gem in front of Dragon Fong. This is the demon's space-time gem. I've tested it and it's incomparably hard. I can't destroy it, so I'll hand it over to you guys to deal with. Okay. Dragon Fong's face was lifeless as he lost the ability to think. How about this? Princess Jade and Mr. Wang Lan must be very tired after coming back from the calamity. Let them go back and rest first. Kate stood up and said to the two of them, Yes, you guys go back and rest first. Mr. Kate, please ask Ambassador Heizei to come over. This information is too big and needs to be reported back to the country immediately. Okay. After returning to the dormitory, Wang Lan took off his clothes and took a bath. After changing into a clean set of clothes, Wang Lan didn't immediately go to sleep. Instead, he sat cross-legged on the bed and immersed himself in the system. This time, not only did he obtain a huge amount of EXP and skill points, but he also obtained a huge amount of spatial energy. Wang Lan had obtained the spatial energy before. When he first came to Magic City, he destroyed an alternate dimension with the experts of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. However, the spatial energy he obtained at that time was too little, so little that Wang Lan didn't feel it at all. But this time, it was completely different. In the system, the Phoenix form skill was still on cooldown, but Wang Lan could already understand some of the changes through the skill's introduction. Phoenix form, Dragon and Phoenix form, Spacetime Phoenix form. The initial form of the Phoenix form was only the original sublimation form, which was the form that Wang Lan used in the beginning. However, as Wang Lan's strength rose, the Phoenix form's enhancement became weaker and weaker. After that, in the 9-story pagoda, because of the fusion with Yu Ruoyun's star energy, it evolved into the second stage of the Phoenix form, Mimicry form. This stage of the Phoenix form was the most transformative Phoenix form. It could integrate various abilities into the form. Wang Lan knew from the information he obtained from his mother, Yan Emperor, that Wang Ling had used 7 mimicry transformations at this stage. For example, the Ice Phoenix form. Wherever it went, thousands of miles of ice and snow would fall. However, compared to Wang Ling's second stage transformation, Wang Lan's second stage transformation was much more high-end. For the first time, he used the Dragon Emperor form. The Dragon Emperor form was comparable to the quality of all of Wang Ling's mimicry forms. Now, the second mimicry form had appeared. It was actually the spatial form, Spacetime Phoenix. Not to mention the strength of this form, just the name alone was already very awesome. The Spacetime Phoenix form could leave a fixed coordinate at a fixed location and perform spacetime jumps that ignored distance. This ability could be said to be the best equipment for instant support and speed escape. With this thing, he was basically invincible. Of course, the energy source of this spacetime Phoenix form was the power of space, not the energy produced by Wang Lan himself. It was like a power bank. When the power was used up, this form would become useless. However, the spacetime gem had such a huge amount of space energy. It should be able to last for a long time, right? He reluctantly looked away and turned to the few Takashi Hoshi skills below. Now that the system had enough skill points, Wang Lan was hesitating. Should he change his current fighting style? These skill points could be used in 2 ways for Wang Lan. The first was to increase the level of his multi-attribute skills. All Takashi Hoshi skills would be upgraded to the platinum level. Wang Lan could rely on Takashi Hoshi skills to deal with any unexpected situation. The second was to maintain the current fighting style and focus on strengthening Flaming Blade, Holy Shield, and Mindless Butterfly's Dance to push these skills to the top. This fighting style was not bad. The only shortcoming was that it did not have enough output power. Almost everyone was vexed over how to continue down this difficult path, but Wang Lan was vexed over which of the 2 broad paths to take. Chapter 359. Wang Lan didn't waver for long before he made up his mind. Pure magic classes were indeed cool and awesome. However, Wang Lan shouldn't only focus on his peers, not even those in the Star Sea realm. Wang Lan could be said to be invincible among his peers. Among the younger generation he knew, only Yu Ruoyun had the strength to fight him. Even Princess L, a genuine Star Sea realm expert, Wang Lan was confident that he could kill her within half an hour. Therefore, Wang Lan's ultimate goal was to focus on titled experts. If he walked the path of pure magic classes, he could indeed upgrade all the S-class Takashi Hoshi skills to the platinum level. However, the pure platinum level didn't satisfy him. Earth Fire Roar was very powerful, so was Heavenly Fire Apocalypse, but the EOE damage spread out their power. For example, even if Omniscient Nature was upgraded to the Platinum level, it could kill a group of Star Sea Realm experts, but it might not be able to kill a titled expert. I still have to focus on single-target Takashi Hoshi skills. After making up his mind, Wang Lan fixed his eyes on the Extremely Hot Ray. The Extremely Hot Ray should have been a powerful attribute evolved from the fire element, just like how the ice element would transform into the Extremely Cold Ray after reaching a high level of attainment and triggering a qualitative change. The Extremely Cold Ray, commonly known as the Aurora, was the ultimate dream of the ice element Takashi Hoshi. It could emit the extremely cold ray that was close to absolute zero, and even the movement of atoms could be frozen. However, the corresponding extremely hot ray had never appeared in the past thousands of years. Only the legendary Eastern Emperor Red Bird from the mythological era had the extremely hot ray ability. Wang Lan upgraded the flaming saber to the extremely hot ray a week ago, but the initial temperature of Platinum 1 was only 10,000 degrees, which was only a little higher than the purple flame. Wang Lan wasn't satisfied with the extremely hot ray. Even when he fought with Sangua, Wang Lan didn't use this move. How could a 10,000-degree extremely hot ray be called extremely hot ray? In the universe, there were also a lot of people whose temperature exceeded 100 million. In the country of light, any light attack from a light warrior could reach more than 100,000 degrees. Wang Lan stared at the attributes of the Scorching Ray panel. Scorching Ray, Platinum LV1, 020000. If he took a gamble, he would only get 20,000 skill points at most. If it was too different from what he expected, this skill would be useless in the future. He added 20,000 skill points to Scorching Ray. Instantly, Scorching Ray increased from Platinum 1 to Platinum 2. Wang Lan hurriedly focused his mental power on the Extremely Hot Ray. Extreme Heat Ray, Platinum LV2, ray temperature, 15,000 degrees. Because this skill evolved from the Flaming Blade, it contains all the techniques of the Flaming Blade. An increase of 5,000 degrees? This increase allowed Wang Lan's heart to finally settle back down. Was 5,000 degrees a lot? Well, not much. It was nothing to the Big Bang, which could easily reach millions of degrees, or even hundreds of millions of degrees. But let me ask you a question. You might be fine with 35 degrees, but what about 40 degrees? If it's 50 degrees, you'll end up in the hospital in minutes. You might not be able to withstand an increase of 5 or 10 degrees. What does an increase of 5,000 degrees mean? 10,000 degrees could instantly melt metal, and 15,000 degrees could instantly turn metal into a pool of water. After adding another 30,000 skill points, the temperature of Scorching Ray reached 20,000 degrees. 20,000 degrees Celsius could instantly turn metal into a gaseous state, just like boiling water. He only stopped when he upgraded Scorching Ray to Platinum 4. F***CK, skill points are too useless. A total of 90,000 skill points were used, and there were only 120,000 skill points left in the system. Wang Lan couldn't upgrade Scorching Ray anymore, but he still had Sacred Shield. Sacred Shield was currently Platinum 1. This was the last Takashi Hoshi skill to learn, but Sacred Shield was really useful in close combat. There was almost no delay in activation, and the skill had no cooldown. Other than the defense that Wang Lan wasn't satisfied with, it was very compatible with the Zanpakuto. So this time, Wang Lan directly spent 10,000 skill points to upgrade Sacred Shield to Platinum. When a white light flashed in front of Wang Lan's eyes, the newly upgraded skill appeared in front of Wang Lan's eyes. Sacred Shield, Platinum Level 1, 020000. Sacred Shield, immunity to 300% of physical, elemental, mystic, and soul attacks. What did 300% mean? If Wang Lan's limit was 100%, He could block attacks that could kill Wang Lan 3 times. If he had Sacred Shield, Sangua's attack would have been perfectly blocked, and he wouldn't have been beaten up so badly by Sangua. Thinking of this, Wang Lan felt so aggrieved that she wished she could dig Sangua out and beat her again. If Wang Lan had used up all his skill points, he wouldn't have been so frustrated. But back then, Wang Lan's system still had 30,000 skill points. Why didn't he think of upgrading Sacred Shield? If Sangua knew about this, she would have been speechless again. Please be a human. You've already King killed me. What else do you want? I'm a titled battle pet warrior. Do you think I don't care about my reputation? Suppressing the thought of upgrading Sacred Shield, Wang Lan looked at the New Moon Arrow. In terms of single target damage, New Moon Arrow, Thunder Snake, and Flame Blade were the strongest. However, the Thunder Snake's evolution path might lead to the Thunder Body. For Wang Lan, who had Sacred Shield and Dance of the Butterfly, it was redundant. However, New Moon Arrow's long-range attack was what Wang Lan desperately needed. New Moon Arrow was currently gold level 7, and the price to upgrade was not high. He might as well upgrade it to platinum first. When the Crescent Moon Arrow leveled up in a flash of white light, a brand new skill appeared in front of Wang Lan. Star God Arrow. But when you look at the starry sky, are you also shocked by the vast number of stars? Star God Arrow, let you become the most beautiful child under the starlight. Void purple eyes, lock onto all targets in your sight. No matter how they dodge, your arrow will always chase after them and shoot them down. Arrow of the Heart. Gather all your astral power and shoot an arrow. Either you die or I die. After shooting an arrow, your entire body will be exhausted. If there are any enemies around, run quickly. Damn, and our skill appeared just like that? Wang Lan looked at the Star God Arrow and was speechless. He knew that Takashi Hoshi's skills would undergo a qualitative change after upgrading to platinum level. However, he did not expect the qualitative change to be so unimaginable. There were so many Takashi Hoshi skills that had been upgraded to platinum level. The first few were normal, but the later ones were more surprising than the last. This made Wang Lan have the urge to upgrade her Nebula Sword Dance to platinum rank. After thinking about it, he decided against it. With Dance of the Butterfly, Nebula Sword Dance would not be very useful. Also, the battle with Sangua had proven the effectiveness of Dance of the Butterfly. This skill had saved Wang Lan's life many times under Sangua's attacks. Dodging was enough. There were still 100,000 skill points left in the system. At this moment, skill points had become very precious. It was impossible to waste them. Or wait a little longer. With that thought, Wang Lan had a good sleep. The next day, Wang Lan got up and looked at the time in confusion. Why did no one wake him up today? After washing up, he was surprised to find that some people had returned from the camp. There were students from the academy and warriors from the Black Tiger Army. Morning, everyone. Wang Lan greeted everyone. Morning, my ass. The sun is already up. Wang Lan, are you usually this lazy? How can you be so strong? Yang Xian, a classmate who was familiar with Wang Lan, said jokingly. You can't blame me for this. I'm just sleeping. It's like my strength has the ability to reproduce. It's constantly increasing. I'm also very troubled. F***CK. When you get up, go to the cafeteria to eat. The chef is making big meat buns today. Really? But aren't you guarding the secondary space? Why do I see so many people coming back? The secondary space was closed last night. Damn it, the space node is in that damn place. We wasted a week for nothing. It was closed? That's great. What's the next space? When do we set off? Wang Lan felt that he had lost sleep. It was as if he was out of touch with the world. Well, it's hard to say, Yang Xian said solemnly with a mysterious expression. What's wrong? I don't know what exactly happened. It seems to have something to do with a meteorite. I don't know the details. Director Long didn't say. Don't you have a good relationship with the higher-ups? Can you help us ask? Wang Lan nodded and went to the cafeteria. He ate 6 meat buns in one go before burping in satisfaction. Beep beep beep. His phone rang. It was Yu Ruoyun. Wang Lan, are you still sleeping? Get up and come to the third conference room. Full of doubts, Wang Lan went to the third conference room. This was the conference room that the Jade State had sent to help him. There were only a few Star C State teachers and a few Star C State higher-ups in the Black Tiger Army. Including Yu Ruoyun and Wang Lan, all of the Star C State experts were present. Is everyone here? I'll keep it short. Just an hour ago, at 17 in the afternoon, Jade State time, the country contacted Ambassador He Zhe. The International Space Observatory found an asteroid outside Sky Blue. The asteroid is about 50 meters in diameter and weighs about 100,000 tons. The International Space Observatory is paying close attention to the asteroid's trajectory. 10 minutes ago, the latest data was that the asteroid had a 10% chance of falling into the atmosphere. There was a 90% chance that it would be torn apart by the gravity of the Moon and Sky Blue. If the asteroid fell into Sky Blue, it would fall into the Arctic Ocean in the Northern Hemisphere. The impact would be equivalent to 50 hydrogen bombs exploding. Well, it doesn't seem to be a big threat, does it? A tactical teacher scratched his head. The Arctic Ocean is huge. More than 95% of it is uninhabited. Let alone 10 million hydrogen bombs, even 500 of them won't be a problem, right? Lao Su, did you forget that we are also in the area of impact of the asteroid? Damn, such a huge area just happened to fall on top of us? Is it really that interesting? The probability of being hit by a meteor could be described as 1 in 100 million. Even if they had accurate data, it was still 1 in 100,000. There were meteorites falling from Sky Blue every day. However, most of them were very small. They would burn up before they could reach the ground after breaking through the atmosphere. A 50-meter diameter asteroid would quickly melt on its way to the ground. It would be good if 1/10 of it hit the ground. Although the probability is low, we still can't let our guard down. Now, human science and technology can make accurate predictions. If the asteroid really did fall, it would take at least 20 hours for it to reach the ground. This is enough time to estimate the exact location of the impact. Let's wait. Accidents can't be ignored. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Nights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.